Ladies and gentlemen, it's Thursday, January 15th, 2026. Here's what's coming up on the Owen Report today. Well, we are just overloaded with headlines for today, content for today. I hope we can get to all of it. You still have the same geopolitical news cycle happening. Iran, Venezuela, Russia now, Saudi Arabia. Another oil tanker has been seized. You've got two blocks in the international community claiming that they are stopping President Trump from striking Iran. We'll look at both of those things. Most of the focus today, however, is on another ICE shooting in Minnesota. An illegal alien struggling with ICE. There's an ambush on the agent by some leftist protesters, still not shut down by Pam Bondi. Agent reacts in self-defense, discharges his firearm, hits the illegal alien in the leg. Last we saw of the illegal migrant, he was in the back of an ambulance smiling and laughing. So I guess they're having a good time with that. And once again, now the leftist protests are getting more violent. So they got what they wanted. They got what they wanted. They got the dead body. They got the martyr. The fuel to charge these protests, re-energize these protests. And as far as Pam Bondi's investigation into the organizers and the fundraisers, nothing. But we did, because we were wondering yesterday, we did have a Pam Bondi sighting last night. I will give you one guess where it was. I'll give you one guess. I don't know. Do you think you can figure it out? One guess? Take a wild stab at it. So we're going to look at some of these protests, but it's nothing new. It seems that we see this after every election or before every election, leftists protesting, and in this case, trying to block ICE agents from doing their job. No other way to put it. So yeah, we'll look at some of these images, some of these videos, and hey, it doesn't look good. I don't like seeing guys that are out there in full military gear dragging Americans in the street. But what else are they supposed to do? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Isn't that what they say? Seems to be a lot of that going on. We do have other news out of the White House. We'll look at some of that news. Hopefully we can get to some statements from Tim Burchett on a couple of votes. Had a couple of votes in Congress yesterday. And go figure, the result for both of them was more of your tax dollars going to special and foreign interests. How do you like that? In the multi-billions, by the way. Multi-billions. I think we were just shy of 100 billion voted yesterday. 100 billion in spending, just short of it yesterday, voted by Congress. Tim Burchett is upset. Of course, AIPAC, however, is thrilled. Oh, yes. AIPAC is thrilled today. They're bragging about how they own both sides of Congress today. And then it's every day we see these messages. So here's AIPAC bragging about how they own both sides of Congress. And then you've got the Jerusalem Post conference. And it's another lady, just like yesterday's clip. It's another lady saying, well, you know, we need to take action. Any anti-Semites must be removed from the world. She says, it's a conspiracy theory to say Jews control the world. So we're going to make sure that you don't get access to the world that we don't control. Interesting messaging there. Seems like a mixed signal. I'm getting a missed signal there. And then, you know what? Some interesting stuff happening in the streamer world. We're going into streaming world news. I can't even believe it, but here we are.
This news update was brought to you by OwenSchroyer.store, the official site for Owen Report merchandise.
All right. Are you a water snob yet? We do have our friends in the audience that are water snobs. And if you aren't yet, you might be. You might be if you go to CovePure.com/Owen. By the way, they still got a sale live right now, $250 off your water filtration system, CovePure.com/Owen. And you can see this sometimes. I shoot some videos at my house in my kitchen. You can see what looks like it might be an alien spacecraft or some alien technology behind me. Well, that's actually my CovePure water filtration system. I've been drinking filtered water for years, folks. It's by far the best system that I've ever had. It's really not even close. You really can taste the difference. And I've never really said that about a water filtration system before because I'm not really sure that I could. With this, you can. With the CovePure water system, you can. But here's why it's like alien technology. You've never heard of such a water filter. It can give you on-demand hot water. Hot water. So you want your instant coffee, you want your tea, one button, hot water, ready to go. No wait. Instant. Cold water, same thing. You want ice cold water? You don't need ice cubes. Push one button, instant cold water, all in one machine. Or they've got room temperature too. You can control how much you want. 6 ounces, 16 ounces. Just go ahead and select for yourself. All customizable. It's got a removable water pitcher right there that refills itself. That's right. All in one. And there's so much more. The filtration system is the best. Reverse osmosis, then re-alkalizes the water before it puts it in your glass or bottle, whatever it is you decide you're going to be drinking out of today. So take advantage of this. CovePure.com/Owen. And like I said, folks, they still got this sale live, $250 off your system. Get it while it's live right now. It's time to filter your water if you're not doing it, folks. Beyond time. CovePure.com/Owen.
Turn my system on.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
Yes, we're still doing this. We're still doing this. Ted Cruz posting. Ted Cruz last night. Eesh. Ted. Old Tel Aviv Ted. They don't call him Texas Ted. No, they call him Tel Aviv Ted. And he's posting the same slop. He's posting the same foreign war propaganda slop with the Canadian woman lighting the cigarette. We've all seen it. And Ted Cruz is still spreading the propaganda. Really amazing stuff, the level of propaganda, isn't it? Hey, but at least we have a general sense of awareness. At least we can locate it, find it, spotlight it, and not be fooled by it. That's what we do here on the Owen Report. How's everybody doing? Any insomniacs out there today? Anybody suffering from the insomnia? Had a wicked bout last night. I don't know if I slept at all. I'm not sure if it was that or I was dealing with legal all morning, and I haven't had to deal with legal in a long time. Big shout out to the 1776 Law Center, by the way, our friends over there, the official law center of the Owen Report, the 1776 Law Center. Our friends Bob Barnes, Lexus Anderson. But anyway, haven't had to deal with legal in some time, and you know how it is. You know how it is when you got that on your mind. So, yeah, what is sleep? I see I'm not the only one. So we're going to power through today. We're going to power through. The good news is, no strikes. No strikes yet. So there you go. All right. Like I said, we got a ton of news today. Seeing if there's any updates in these headlines. Yeah, the main focus all day has been these ICE protests and the new shooting today of the illegal alien. It's actually insane how many people, you've probably seen there was a shooting. You've probably seen that headline. But it's amazing how they always leave out the context that these ICE agents are getting ambushed. Now, I haven't seen a video of it yet. I was looking. Again, I admittedly was doing legal work all morning, so I didn't have my standard show prep, perhaps. But I haven't seen the video. But the reports are that the ICE agent was ambushed, and they had a bunch of snow shovels. So basically the ICE agent, so somebody's tipping them off, folks. Somebody's tipping them off. And I don't want to be the redundancy here. I don't want to be the hamster on the wheel here. But again, it's like paging Pam Bondi. Yes, we did have a Pam Bondi sighting. I don't want to spoil the surprise for you, though. I don't want to spoil the surprise, guys, of where we might have seen Pam Bondi last night, because I know it's a big mystery. Nobody will ever guess where we saw Pam Bondi last night. So I don't want to spoil the surprise. But we did hear from Pam Bondi. Not on the ICE stuff, though. That was not the reason why we saw Pam Bondi last night. So somebody's tipping off these protesters. Somebody's tipping off the organizers that have the infrastructure, the text chains, the email chains, the mass communication infrastructure. And then, of course, the funders, the people that fund this whole thing to get them in the streets, to get the information, to have the protests. So Bondi was supposed to shut all this down. She hasn't. So here we go. And an ICE agent is getting ambushed. I see. You got to be able to at least try and see the different perspectives. I feel that way if you're in my chair. It's like, okay, I need to see all the different perspectives and then try to boil it down to what's the truth as we can best find it. Let's be honest, guys, we don't like seeing this. We don't like seeing militarized ICE agents in the streets now. We don't like it. They're in gas masks, full body armor, guns, everything. It's not what we want to see. It's okay to say that. It doesn't mean you're against ICE. It doesn't mean you're against law enforcement. It's okay. We don't like seeing that in the streets. We don't. We don't like seeing women getting dragged out of their cars and, kids getting hit with smoke bombs. We don't like that stuff. Guys, it's okay. That's the right stance. We don't want to see that stuff. But we have to be honest that I don't know what the other option is. So it's okay. It's okay to say we don't like to see it, but it's also okay to recognize it has to be done. You can't put these ICE agents out there without the proper security, without the proper tactics, however you want to put it. But no, you see it all over. It's all over today. ICE agent shoots illegal alien. Young guy, doesn't look too old, maybe 20, shoots him in the leg. And it's just conveniently left out that he gets ambushed. Just conveniently left out that they're stalking him, waiting for him to open the door. And they come out with a bunch of snow shovels. So sorry, I'm not defending you. Sorry, not defending you. You're clowns. You should go to jail. You should go to jail, probably by your own standards for years, actually. By the standards set by the Democrats, these protesters should be going to jail for 50 years. No. Let's be perfectly honest about this. I spent 2 months in prison for speech. I spent 2 months in prison for speech. So assault with a deadly weapon on a federal agent. What are we looking at here, guys? 50 years? Maybe plea it down, maybe good behavior, maybe some of the Trump legislation. Maybe you can get that down to 20, 25. What do we think, huh? If you get 2 months in prison for speech, what about ambushing and assaulting an ICE agent with a deadly weapon? How about that? What are we looking at, guys? But they conveniently leave that out. Yeah, I don't like this story. This mom brings her kids to the protest. She knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing when she parked her minivan in the street as part of a blockade. She knew exactly what she was doing. Oh, I've got my kids in the car. Well, maybe don't incite a riot. Maybe you're not fit to be a mother. It's crazy. I can't believe we're still doing this. I can't believe it. And I'm just sitting here. I'm like, is Trump okay with this? Maybe he is, guys. Maybe Trump is okay with this. Maybe it helps make him look good. And I know that doesn't make sense to us, the politically informed people, but most people aren't politically informed. They just see a bunch of crazed leftists acting like jackasses, acting like buffoons, and it makes Trump look good. It's a nice distraction. It's a nice distraction for Trump. You know, the BLM riots happened when Trump was president. The Antifa nonsense in the streets happened when Trump was president. So we've already seen Trump allow this stuff to happen without clamping down. Now, you can say that's because the attorney generals aren't doing their job, but yet Trump is the president. So where's Pam Bondi? And why isn't she shutting this down? If they did not have the infrastructure, the mass communication, the organization, the funding, all of it, then this wouldn't be going on. And it would stop all of this from happening. And they wouldn't be able to get tipped off so that they can ambush an ICE agent and then somebody ends up getting shot. But really, it's like, just try to remove the politics and ask yourself, if you are about to ambush a law enforcement officer, if you're going to ambush a law enforcement officer with a assault with a deadly weapon, I mean, seriously, what are we talking about here? Any other circumstances, remove the politics, you're looking probably, 10 years? Assault on an officer with a deadly weapon? Why should it be any different now? You're a mom and you intentionally put your children in danger. We're talking about child endangerment here. You're a mom. What are we looking at here? What would happen if you did that? The mothers listening to this. What if you intentionally, knowingly put your children in harm's way? Blatant child endangerment. What would happen to you? Why should it be any different? Why should it be any different with these protests? And you know me, I see you in the chats. You say, "Oh yeah, but Owen, you were kind of standing with the woman that got shot." I just think I'm being fair here. I just think I'm doing fair analysis. But as I said, a couple days after that, I said, "Okay, well, this is I'm out now. There's no defense of it now." It's like maybe at the time, okay, you could look at it and say, well, maybe the last two shots weren't justified. We'll see what happens. No, there's no hope for these people, unfortunately. And you know, they think they're doing something great. I guess that's the big deception, is they think they're doing something great. Oh, but the liberal media loves it. You know that. New York Times federal agent shoots man in Minneapolis, prompting tense protests. The agent shot a Venezuelan man who was resisting arrest, an officer said. Protests and law enforcement officers clashed for hours as city officials urged people to go home. Oh, you mean and they didn't? Stunning. Absolutely stunning. They were out there all night. When the officer caught up, now notice how this is in the second fold. This is all by design, if you understand how the internet works or newspapers. The fold is it's like, they call it the fold because the newspaper used to fold like this. So you had to unfold it to see the bottom. So, the upper fold, it's what people see first. It's what most people see. So you think about, you're targeting the upper fold for your most important stuff. You're targeting what you want people to see and read in the upper fold. So that's what they do here. They save the the agent was attacked with weapons. They save that for the bottom fold. See, they don't put that in the upper fold. They want to make sure that's in the bottom fold. Slide it on in. When the officer caught up to the illegal alien that was resisting arrest and trying to flee the scene, 2 people came out of a nearby building and, along with the man being sought, attacked the officer with a snow shovel and a broom handle. The officer feared for his life and fired shots, striking the man whom agents were seeking in the leg. Both of them were sent to the hospital, and the 2 people attacking the officer are in custody. Now, this, again, you can read all the different stories. It sounds like an intentional ambush. Sounds like they knew the officers were coming, and they baited the officer to run to this other apartment where they jumped out and started beating him with weapons. And, I'd like to ask, you got one of these punks in front of you. Can't be a high IQ person. So you got one of these punks in front of you, and you just, it's like you start out, just out of curiosity, guys, just out of curiosity. What did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen when you attacked a federal agent with snow shovels? Just curious. I just wondered how you thought that would go. Oh, you know what? I got to run. Tell your buddies in jail. I got to go. Now, we've been hearing rumors about this for a long time. It was, in fact, for a while, it was a big Q conspiracy. Trump threatens to use the Insurrection Act to end protests in Minneapolis. How about the Insurrection Act? Hey, look, do whatever's got to be done. And this is much worse than January 6th, by the way. Much worse. This is everything that they claimed January 6th was. Everything they claimed January 6th was, these protests are. So we need the Insurrection Act. How about we just need the Can Pam Bondi Act? How about we just need the Attorney General to act? That would be nice. So, okay, Insurrection Act. Been hearing it for a while. I don't know. We'll see if it happens. These protests don't look like they're calming down. The only thing that might calm them down is a big snowstorm or a blizzard or something. Otherwise, it does not look like there is any end in sight. Not in the near future. Okay, you've probably seen this. Representative Shri Thanadar, this guy, honestly, you can't even believe this is real. This guy is straight out of like a Family Guy episode or something. Really strange stuff. Well, he's got something to say. He's got something to say about the ICE shooting.
ICE is beyond reform. ICE is totally out of control.
Oh.
And this week, I intend to introduce a bill to abolish ICE. We need to make ICE go away. ICE is beyond reform.
Oh, we're going to abolish ICE. ICE is beyond reform. You know what's funny as I'm hearing this creature talk? Honestly, how does a guy like this get involved in politics, guys? Come on. Come on. Something ain't right here. Let's be honest. Something ain't right. In fact, I'd like to see a test. I'd like somebody to actually prove that's a human being. Actually, I'm dead serious. I'd like to see it. Can somebody prove to me that's not a robot in a mask? We need to abolish ICE. It's beyond reform. I'm hearing this and I'm thinking to myself, of all the federal agencies, ICE might be the one that doesn't need to get abolished. Seriously, think about it. How do you feel about the FBI? Abolished. And I was even debating it internally. I'm like, well, no, okay, the FBI maybe has some purpose. There's some good guys in at the FBI. There's maybe some work there. And then it's just like, oh no, actually, once you're that corrupt, I'm sorry, nope, abolished. FBI abolished. CIA abolished. IRS abolish it twice. And then have another preemptive abolishment just in case. I want to double abolish ICE and then a preemptive abolishment in case it somehow finds its way back. NSA, I mean, you name it. If there's any federal agency that doesn't need abolished, it's probably ICE. It's probably the one that does a focused job that we need with these deportations. And so that's the one the Democrats want to shut down. Isn't that amazing? So they'll weaponize every other agency, but the one agency that might deport their voter base, that might deport their welfare base, that might hurt their agenda to end the white majority in America, then they want it shut down. Now these goobers, these protest goobers are apparently going around in Minneapolis. And if you have an SUV, they're checking on you, anybody with an SUV, because they think you're ICE. So here's a guy that they stop because they think he's ICE. Watch this.
Here you go. There, like I said, I don't have to do this. I'm happy to do this. That's all. We just got to stop this.
So he's got a lot of camera equipment. I think we
Look at these goobers. Who are you? What are you doing? They're running around checking random civilians' SUVs to see if they're ICE. And so this guy's like, this is camera equipment. Looks like he's does like weddings or something. And then she's going to step up. Oh, I've reviewed the vehicle. It's okay, guys. Look at this. Who are you?
Here you go. There, like I said, I don't have to do this. I'm happy to do this. That's all. We just got to stop this.
So he's got a lot of camera equipment. I think we can say this isn't ICE.
Yeah, I'm not. I tried to tell the first lady, nobody believes me. That's all I can do is tell you. I already shot. Listen, first of all, I don't have to do any of that, but I'm kind. I respect what you are doing. Yeah, no. I really appreciate what you guys are doing. I just don't understand the job and I don't know how to do it.
Were you here yesterday?
Yeah.
Yes, he was here yesterday.
Thank you.
I can testify that. I didn't recognize him.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm not here to help you.
No, I
think the
understand.
fact that you're in a vehicle like this at this
I
time
get it. But with all due respect to everybody, I get a couple ways.
Oh, here's another one. Here's your next entitled liberal woman. We just have to check everybody, We just have to look at your SUVs because you might be ICE, but you're okay. You're one of us. Oh, my God. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I don't know why. We're not surprised by this behavior. The left has been doing this forever. But this is next level, folks. They're running checkpoints. Oh, the irony. The irony. The liberals are out here running checkpoints to see who gets allowed in and who doesn't. I can't believe it. It's like, I don't know, like having a border. It's like having a sovereign country and laws for citizenship and immigration? I don't know. That's a novel idea, isn't it? They seem to like it. Oh, we need to check this person. Oh, but the house with the gang members and the gangbangers and the drug dealers, those guys over there, armed to the teeth, don't worry about them. We don't want anybody going in and checking on them. But this guy driving by, the white American driving by in the SUV, we got to stop this guy. We're going to need to see some ID. Are you allowed to be here? Who are you, sir? Venezuelan, gangs walk by, gang tats all over them, armed to the teeth, Oh, come on in. Yes, you're welcome here. You're one of us. Dirty white American in an SUV, stop that man and check for credentials immediately. Incredible. So the liberals do this thing too, where they bring the kids into this, right? They love to do this thing where they bring the kids into this and they say, and by the way, South Park made fun of this years ago. An episode from like 2022, forget what it was called, but if you're a South Park fan, you remember when Mr. Garrison is like, oh, there's this big protest for this cause today. And the kids don't say anything. And then he says, and if you go, you can get out of class. And they're all like, yay! And then they'll leave because they want to get out of class. So the liberals do this. These, these issues, these protests, whatever, the kids may have some awareness of it. Maybe they care, probably mostly unaware, indifferent. But then, we're going to make sure they hear about it or make sure that they know about it. And we're going to give them the opportunity to be a part of it. And we'll lure them in by saying, you'll get the day off school if you go to this protest. So they let them out. They let the kids out, the high school kids, which in Minnesota... Look, it really is wild. And, I don't lean too much into the identity politics stuff. We cover it. But it's not like a big, I don't do too much of the identity politics stuff. But I got to say, to see what has happened in Minnesota, they make the jokes, it's little Mogadishu. But, I mean, it really is. I mean, it's true. And you got all these viral videos now from the Mall of America. And they'll do a video from a grand opening of a store or people riding on the roller coaster or 1994 Christmas at the Mall of America. And you see these videos of it for the people that were around those years. You know the sights, the sounds. And then people will show you videos from the Mall of America 2025, and it's like you're in Somalia. It's like you're in Africa. It's like you're in Mogadishu. It's the Mall of Mogadishu. And I mean, look, I'm not somebody... Austin is pretty diverse, okay? Austin is a pretty diverse city. You go out here, whatever, you're going to see Indians, you're going to see Muslims. So it's not like it's a big issue here, but you see it, whatever. But it's not as much of a culture shock. It's not as much like you've just been transported to an entirely different world like it is in Minnesota. I mean, that is wild to see. So these are the high schoolers. These are the high schoolers, and you can see it's like they're all not from here. Where are you from? I'm sorry, what? I'm from... Oh, yes, right. Yes, you're from... Oh, that's right. I'm so familiar with your culture and everything. I see it every day here in Minnesota. Yeah. Yeah, and that's nice because none of you can even speak English. And you're here in high school with the kids, and now IQs are dropping and nobody can keep up. So now the rest of the kids can't learn at a normal pace. So that's nice. But I'm sure you guys are really concerned with ICE, though. I'm sure you guys really are thinking about ICE. We just flew you in or whatever. on Air Omar. Air Ilhan Omar. We just flew you in here, and you're clicking your way through high school. But hey, I'm sure that the whole ICE protest is very near and dear to your heart. So they lure these kids out of high school. Here you go. There's Northwest Somali High, Northwest Mogadishu High School in Minnesota. You know, I don't know about you. I watch this stuff, and I think, you know, there's always nostalgia, right? You're always going to get a little nostalgic. It happens with every generation. We get a little nostalgic. This is more than just being nostalgic, I think. When I see this, I'm grateful. I'm beyond, this isn't nostalgic. This is like, I'm grateful that this was not my high school experience. I'm grateful. And I don't know. This is becoming more and more common. It's beyond the nostalgia of, you know, what our high school experience was like. No, this is like, wow, I'm grateful that this is not what my high school experience was like. And I'm grateful where I went to high school that, you know, they raised you to be a man. I mean, let me tell you something, folks. The dean of men at where I went to high school, Ray Barr, former Marine drill sergeant, if he would have seen somebody out in public, I don't care where you were. I don't care if you were at the Mall of Mogadishu or a baseball game. If he would have seen you in public dressed like this, he would have torn your ass apart. He would have made sure that you felt like a chump for dressing or behaving like that in public. So it's beyond just the nostalgia. I'm grateful that I didn't have to experience this, and that there was somebody around, if it wasn't my family or, you know, our friends, but that there was someone around at school that would whoop my ass into shape. So those days are gone. And so because of that, you get this. This is now later. So you just kind of saw them all gathered at the foot of the Capitol. So then they all walk up to the stairs and they decide they're going to start fighting. We're going to have a high school fight now. You hear that broken glass now. So they start a fight. Now they're fighting. Now they're committing crimes, breaking property. Little Mogadishu in Minnesota. Hey, we got a day off school, guys. One day older and another day dumber. Way to go, guys. Well, you know what? That's not so funny. That's not so funny. Now, we got a couple other videos. These ones might be worthy of a giggle. These ones, you might greenlight a cackle at this. It's so obnoxious, man. These people are just so obnoxious. So, you know, they're going around harassing these agents in the streets. So here's this young guy just trying to do his job. And I'm sure that I 100% this is a white woman. 100% this is a liberal white woman. We've all heard a Karen like this at some point in time. The only hope, whenever a Karen like this is in your presence and talking incessantly, the only hope you have is that you start bleeding out of your ears. or that maybe you have some sort of temporary deafness so you don't have to listen to the noise. So brace yourselves, guys. Just brace yourselves.
What is your name? Sir, tell me your name.
Oh,
This is unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Absolutely unacceptable.
that's unacceptable. She sounds like that actually sounds like Judge Jackson, though. Now that I'm listening, is that Judge Brown Jackson?
Sir, tell me your name. This is unacceptable.
Okay.
Absolutely unacceptable. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. This is not appropriate. This is my country. I'm here legally.
Okay.
These people, you never ask for proof. You are a bad, evil person. You need to be expunged. You need to go to another country.
Hey,
You need to know what it-
he needs to be expunged, guys. He needs to be expunged. Yes. Expunge him, ma'am. First of all, could you even spell expunge? Second of all, maybe you should know what the words you're using mean before you use them. But this is good.
looks like. Instead, you're
Oh.
you're pulling over innocent people,
Yeah.
not asking for any ID and just hauling them off. You
Nope.
all should be ashamed. How do you go home to children, to friends, to family? Do you tell them what you do for a living? That you arrest people without cause? That you just pick them up, put them in a truck? Is that what you do? Are you proud of yourself for doing this? Are you absolutely proud?
Thank you for calling. Thank you for
Are
calling the ice
are you
hotline for us.
are you proud of this?
Thank
Are
for
you
calling us.
proud?
Thank you for letting
You
us
are an idiot. You do not deserve to walk the face of this earth.
Up, standing in
None
front of
of
a
you.
car. Here we go.
None of you.
Oh,
You
boy.
are fools. I
Yeah.
did get a name. I did get a name. They took somebody out of that car, and they're yeah.
Now we could we could do a whole show. We could do a whole show with this. The problem is, because you watch this. What are the agents supposed to do? Party is like, you know what? Just let them have it. Just if they want to have a little verbal altercation, then just give it to them. Have some fun with them. And you see, they kind of embraced it there at the end. They're like, hey, thanks for calling your ICE hotline. Yeah, troll them, trigger them. Why not? There's just no reasoning with these people. There's no reasoning with them. And when they were having this standoff today, because I got some other videos from last night, we're closing in on the end of the hour, so I'm going to try to do this before we do. But they were out there again today, some pretty big protest out there today. And you've got, the line of federal agents, and they're all in their gear, gas masks, everything. They look like, you don't want to see it, but what are you going to do? And then they're lined off against the protesters. And there's this guy standing in between. He's waving a "Don't tread on me" flag. And he has a bullhorn, and he's trying to reason. He's trying to reason with the protesters. He's trying to say, hey, we're all Americans. It's like, hey, they're trying to do their job here. Let's not make things worse. And, they just get in his face, spit on him, attack him, and then ICE has to, drag him out so that he doesn't get beaten. And this is what led in 2016 and 2017. This is what led to the Proud Boys becoming this like street enforcement crew, because nobody was handling these people. Cops' hands were tied. Law enforcement's hands were tied. And everybody was sick and damn tired of these leftist commie scumbags. So the Proud Boys just went out there, and they would always take the first blow, and then they'd beat their ass. And it was all right. But you can't do that anymore. Got rid of that. And all the moron liberals out there. I guess there's somebody named Enrique Tarrio who's working in ICE. It's not Enrique Tarrio from the Proud Boys. It's not that Enrique Tarrio, January 6th political prisoner Enrique Tarrio. But they find this name in a database, and it says Enrique Tarrio. And so they're all spreading it today. Enrique Tarrio, Proud Boys racist, is in ICE. Proud Boys Nazi. And, of course, he's issued the public statement saying, look, it's not me. I'd be honored to join ICE, but it's actually not me. Doesn't stop them. They still publish their stories. They still claim racist KKK Proud Boy leader Enrique Tarrio, white supremacist black man. So this is some of the stuff, though, from last night. You can see things got out of control. You know, the smoke, the fire, the flashbangs. Crazy. So they can't even look, folks. We can all be upset at the lack of deportations. All right. Totally fair. Totally fair. We can be happy that border crossings are down to almost nothing. We can be happy that the number is finally going in the right direction, meaning more people are leaving than coming in. And we can be upset that the deportation numbers are not anywhere near where they need to be, not even close. But when half of the enforcement becomes running defense so that you can actually have the deportation going on, so it's like half of your resources are going towards the actual deportation, and then half of your resources are going towards trying to protect the officers doing the deportations because of all the protests. Well, now, yeah, you got problems. You got problems. We'll see if these things die out, but it doesn't really seem that way. I keep thinking that they will. I keep thinking that these things are going to sputter out, but they haven't yet. And they actually seem to be gaining momentum. And you know those leftist bastards are just waiting for the next person to get shot. They're just waiting for the next face that they can put in a mass email and say, ICE did it again. Come out and protest. We did have a Pam Bondi spotting. We did. We were wondering yesterday, were we going to have to put out a missing persons alert? Pam Bondi was lost at her desk with all the criminal referrals and everything else. But we had a Pam Bondi spotting last night. Guys, did you guess? Did you figure out where we saw Pam Bondi last night? I know this one is tough. Where did we see Pam Bondi last night? Oh, did you guess Fox News? You got it.
And Sean, the First Amendment is a bedrock principle, but this isn't about that. This is about classified material that could jeopardize lives. And this IT guy that worked for Department of War, and Pete Hegseth has been amazing, and he's up against a lot with these people. This guy that worked, he was a contractor, IT contractor, who had classified information, is charged now with leaking classified information involving a foreign adversary. He could jeopardize the lives, the safety of our men and women in the military. So today, it's been reported that the great men and women of the FBI executed a search warrant at the direction of Kash Patel and my office on the reporter's home, seizing the devices that contained classified material regarding our foreign adversaries. And that's what we're looking into now. But the guy from the IT department is in jail. President Trump has made it very clear. You will not jeopardize the men and women in our military, and you will not leak classified information.
Pam, you're at the White House awfully late last night. Now, they are getting pressed. The White House is getting pressed on this, and they are not answering. Caroline Leavitt was asked, Pam Bondi was asked. And the question is, does the administration believe in protection of journalists that publish this information? And they refused to answer the question. And I think we all know why. And they're going to make their case as to why. I mean, they basically raided the journalist's house, and it's likely that the journalist probably cooperated, I would guess, out of probably fear and intimidation. But the journalist that published it probably said, okay, here's the sources, here's the materials. All right, go ahead. And the White House wouldn't say whether they believe in protections of journalism that publish this stuff. So normally that's what we believe in. We believe that the journalist needs to be protected, and that out of integrity for the practice, you don't turn on your sources. Otherwise, it creates a chilling effect, and nobody will want to be a whistleblower. Nobody will want to share these stories with the press. So it's a dangerous line here. Now, it's hard to argue with the defense of, hey, this is for national security. But you notice that they just say that about everything. Everything is national security. Everything they do now is national security. So it's just, okay. But they raided it. They raided the journalist. They got the materials. They found out the source. And he's probably going to be in jail for a long time. That's all we really know. But Pam Bondi, there it is. The Fox News appearance after a late night visit at the White House. But can't, hasn't, and I guess won't be shutting down all of these groups. Is it just going to continue? We're not going to shut down these groups organizing the protests? Come on, Pam. We're waiting.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Guys, it's almost in the news every day. You just saw the Verizon outage yesterday. It was a massive outage. Could it have something to do with a hack? Could sensitive private information have been hacked as part of this outage? Well, it's happened before, and it happens far too often. And what happens is these hackers, they get your private information, and then they can post it on the internet or even sell it to interested parties on the internet. That's why you need to protect your private information with Patriot Protect. Patriot-Protect.com/Owen. And this is why Patriot Protect is so important. It'll blow your mind how many people can get access to your private information. Not just your private information, but they can post your entire family tree and your family members' private information. Unfortunately, when you're a public figure, these things have a little higher risk. But you want to protect yourself. You want to protect your family from harassment. And this has happened far too often. So that's why I've partnered with Patriot Protect. Patriot-Protect.com/Owen. 15% off a yearly subscription right now with coupon code Owen. You heard that right. 15% off a yearly subscription with coupon code Owen at Patriot-Protect.com/Owen. And this isn't just a one and done situation. Not only do they make the first sweep of the internet to locate any of your private sensitive information and get it off the internet, they then run 24/7 around the clock. And anytime that information pops back up anywhere, they can target it and remove it immediately. These services are going to be as common as a home security system in the very near future, if they won't be very, very, very near future. Because more and more people are getting victimized by this. You're seeing emails, getting letters in the mail talking about these hacks, your private information. You may be a victim. Don't sweat it. Go to Patriot-Protect.com/Owen. Protect your private information online and use coupon code Owen for 15% off a year-long prescription.
It's your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast, The Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
Did we say prescription? We meant subscription. We did. Producer DMT wants you to know he knows about Ray-Bar Elite status. He knows about Ray-Bar Elite status, Elite Smackdown. Maybe we both found ourselves in Mr. Barr's office a few too many times. But you know what he used to tell me? I'd be in there for some disciplinary reason. You know what he used to tell me, though? We'll try to do the Ray-Bar voice to those that know the legendary status of Ray-Bar. Say, you know what, Schroyer? I love guys like you. Well, why is that, Mr. Barr? If it wasn't for guys like you, Schroyer, I wouldn't have a job. You keep me employed. Noted, sir. All right, what do we have here? What do we have next? We got a lot of headlines here. We got a lot of headlines. Trump's promised manufacturing boom is a bust so far. Here we go. Introducing the highest U.S. tariffs since the Great Depression, President Donald Trump made a clear promise in the spring. Jobs and factories will come roaring back into our country. They haven't. Manufacturing employment has declined every month since Trump declared Liberation Day in April, saying his widespread tariffs would begin to rebalance global trade in favor of American workers. U.S. factories employ 12.7 million people today, 72,000 fewer than when Trump made his Rose Garden announcement. Now, it's a sign that the tariffs, you don't want to say it's a failure because it's an ongoing process. So you can't say that the tariffs are a failure yet. It's an ongoing process. You could maybe say that they failed to this point, but there's no doubt Trump has not won the tariff war, and it has not had it has not produced the results that he had desired or maybe anticipated. The Supreme Court decision, which looks like it's going to go his way. It looks like the Supreme Court is going to rule with Trump, but it's still unknown. That could be a determining factor. I think the world might be more willing to cooperate with Trump on tariffs if he wasn't working with Netanyahu, if he wasn't so tight with Netanyahu, and if he wasn't prioritizing Israel's desires in the Middle East. I think that the tariffs might have a better chance of success. But I think a lot of the world looks at Trump supporting all of Israel's actions in the Middle East, and they say, we don't want to work with you because we don't support that. So all of the money that he talked about, folks, it's not there. We've been covering it for months now. The money's not there. The manufacturing, it's just not there, folks. And you just have to be honest. Hey, support Trump all day long. Wave the pom-poms. Do the high leg kicks. But let's just be honest. The guy just says shit. He just says shit. It's part of his marketing style. It's part of his branding style. Just go out there, just say it. Who cares? Make it up. Everything's the best. Everything's the biggest. Everything's the greatest of all time. It's the best. The most money, everything. It's just what he does. So, oh, but trillions here, billions here, all this stuff, all the manufacturing. It doesn't exist. Now, I think that's the goal. I think this is what he desires, the end result with tariffs. I think this is what he's trying to do with all of these, big deals he's cutting with these companies. But it's just not there. It just hasn't happened. And that's why it's so frustrating when we keep seeing bad and unpopular foreign policy prioritized that could be hurting this agenda. Cracks begin to appear at the nation's biggest banks. This week, Bank of America, Citi, J.P. Morgan, and Wells Fargo released fraught earnings report as President Trump's threatened cap on credit card rates loomed large. Yeah, well, it's all a giant bubble. It's all a giant bubble. And now more people are willing to accept and maybe even act upon the fact that our currency is fake. It was it 1963, I think, the last time they had any silver in a quarter? I think it was 1963. And even then it was a fraction. It was like a small amount of the actual quarter was actual silver. But there was actual silver in the quarter. I think they stopped that in 1964, 63. Now that quarter is worth $17. And look, we don't have our friends Allegiance Gold on the schedule today. But, I'm looking at this silver stuff, guys, and part of me thinks that we really don't even know what the number actually is. So, free plug for protectwithowen.com here, getting to precious metals. I'm not sure that the numbers we're seeing now aren't being deflated. There are signs out there that the vaults don't have any silver. It's like gone. I wonder if that silver number, and people I talk to in the precious metals community, they've all been saying silver is the most undervalued precious metal out there. More so than gold, more so than anything else, because the actual market availability is being inflated. I wonder if something isn't about to pop here. Banks keep needing bailouts. It's already a bubble that's about to burst. Precious metals are going off the charts. Where is all the cash even going? Foreclosures, record foreclosures. Bank seized 367,000 homes as housing pain spreads across the United States, and it's about to get much worse. The past year was difficult for homeowners, but experts warn that 2026 could be even more challenging. Foreclosures rose 14% last year, or from the year before. In total, 367,460 U.S. properties faced foreclosure filings in 2025, meaning that they were in some stage of being taken over by a lender. And it was the same story with repossessions and everything. Experts warn even more homes may be seized in 2026 if the job market weakens, and it may very well, then we could unfortunately down the road see the increase in the foreclosure rate significantly accelerate. Yeah, it's foreclosures, it's repossessions, it's defaulting on credit card debt, it's defaulting on student loan debt. It's not the golden age. It's not the greatest economy ever. It's really not good. Now, Caroline Leavitt was forced to address this today at the White House press conference. Trump on 2026 midterms, we shouldn't even have an election. So apparently there's some meeting at the White House, and Trump floats the idea of canceling elections. They run with it in the press. Caroline Leavitt answered it today. She said that the president was joking. Probably true. But that's going to send him. And I don't know. Now you look at Trump and you wonder. Maybe Trump looks at Netanyahu, looks at Zelensky, maybe acts like him at times, and thinks, I'll just cancel elections too. I wouldn't even be that surprised. But the White House says it was said in jest. It was a joke. I'd probably believe that that's true. But the left is going crazy. The wait for a tariff ruling could signal a Trump win, or a refund headache. That'll be a disaster. Supreme Court justices may be taking time to address the issue of tariff refunds. The likelihood of the Supreme Court ruling in favor of President Trump in a closely watched tariff case increased moderately Wednesday after the court again held off on releasing its decision. The High Court has indicated it is acting in an expedited manner in the case, which has massive economic stakes, but the justices don't typically give hints about exactly when a particular opinion will be issued. Yeah, there's definitely people bracing in the markets for this. But they are still going up. They do continue to go up. Does anybody believe this? Medical expert claims Trump had a stroke, and Air Force One stairs video tells the story. I don't believe that. I think Trump is probably having some health issues here. He's an old guy, and, maybe you can see some of it. He didn't have a stroke. I just love it. You guys covered up Biden's health issues for 4 years. Blatantly lied about it. Blatantly covered it up. It was part of the agenda. And now you're going to sit here and try to sell us on, you're the experts on Trump's health now. Right. The U.S. is pressuring Mexico to allow U.S. forces to fight cartels. The United States is escalating pressure on the Mexican government to permit the U.S. military to target fentanyl labs, according to American officials. Well, that's where all the fentanyl is coming from, and they knew that, not Venezuela. They also released the data from last year. I forget the number, but fentanyl deaths and street drug-related deaths were down massively. Massively. So there's no doubt that's a result of the southern border being sealed up. There's no doubt that's probably because a lot of these deportations are getting some of the big drug dealers out of here as well. Maybe there's a slight awareness factor of people knowing the fentanyl is out there, and so they're avoiding it. But that has been a victory. That has been a victory for the administration. For sure. The fentanyl deaths, the drug deaths, way down. That is happening. U.S. gets first $500 million Venezuelan oil deal, holding some proceeds in Qatar. So they're going to go after Trump for working with Qatar on these oil deals now, probably. the Trump administration's first sale of Venezuelan oil is valued at $500 million. An administrator told Samanfer the sale marks an initial milestone in the administration's management of the Venezuelan oil after the U.S. ouster of Maduro. Trump has indicated that the U.S. would effectively run Venezuela for an indeterminable amount of time and take control of up to 50 million barrels of its oil. By the way, in Venezuela, pro-Maduro protests are happening right now. And I know since you're not going to get this in any of the Western media, and for the most part, they've just decided we're not talking about Venezuela anymore. But this is a pro-Maduro rally happening in Venezuela as he's been in jail for 12 days. They're calling him 12 days a prisoner, the name of the protest. They want him released. So pro-Maduro protests happening in Venezuela. Total blackout in the American media, of course. Of course. And then some of the American media was showing a pro-regime protest in Iran. They were showing it was a pro-regime protest, and they were showing it on the news as an anti-regime protest. So you get some of that too. That's always nice. U.S. forces seize a sixth Venezuela-linked oil tanker in the Caribbean Sea. 6 oil tankers seized now. They just seized another one. By the way, on some of these foreign affairs here, Trump, probably the Israeli lobby. I mean, let's just say what it is. The Israeli lobby has selected who they want to take over in Iran, and the Israeli lobby has decided who they want to take over in Venezuela. And it's the two people that they make sure you see in the Western media. Maria Machado, or whoever it was, that freaky, ghoulish-looking lady that they gave the Nobel Peace Prize to, and then the Crown Prince of Iran, the son of the former Shah. That's who they've selected. Now, Trump has basically come out against both of them. And at least for the current timeline, Trump is actually in support of Delcy Garcia, I believe her name, Delcy, in Venezuela, saying that she's the only one that can run the country right now, and she's cooperating with us. So that's a total snub to the foreign lobby that wants to get that freaky-looking lady in there. And then the same thing is happening in Iran, and he's saying the Crown Prince, I'm not sure he can win over support. I'm not sure if that's going to work. I think that would not be the right choice right now. So, because here's the thing, folks, Trump still has good instincts. He's just playing ball with all the bad guys. And maybe if you really want to be, a black pill or whatever, he's just sold out. He's just sold out to them. But it's like he knows. He knows what happens if he goes all the way with these regime change wars. He knows Venezuela will be destabilized. He knows Iran will be destabilized. He knows that. So he's telling these people, he's like, look, if you install this woman in Venezuela, it's not going to work. If you install the Crown Prince in Iran, it's not going to work. But of course, they don't care. They destabilize. That's what they do. So not really going along with the foreign lobby on that agenda. We'll see if that lasts. Gulf states and Turkey warned Trump strikes on Iran could lead to major conflict. U.S. allies' lobbying appears to have helped persuade President Trump to hold off for now on a military strike on Iran. So, okay, we know that the Gulf nation states, Saudi Arabia most prominently, have been trying to stop Trump from engaging in these strikes. But apparently Israel is making the same claim. Netanyahu asked Trump to pump brakes on U.S. strikes on Iran. New York Times reports. The report came after the U.S. appeared to shift towards diplomatic means of pressure to stop the Iranian crackdown on protesters. According to the report, Netanyahu personally asked Trump to hold off on a U.S. military attack on Iran And then the reason, they say, is because Israel would not be prepared to get into a defensive or offensive stance against Iran if they decided to launch their own strikes in response to American strikes. And it's so funny if you've been following this on X, and you probably have seen some of the same posts that I've seen, that most people have seen. They're going viral. They're probably, paid promotions, paid promoted posts so that everybody sees it. And it's all the foreigners, women, by the way, and probably, good looking. They know what they're doing. They're sexualizing women. They're sexualizing women for this entire regime change propaganda. That's what they're doing. So they got all of these women, all these foreign women, and they're posting videos, and they're making demands. They're making demands of President Trump. They're making demands of the American people. And it's so funny. And they're sitting here, and they're all Israeli influencers. They're all pro-Israel influencers. They're all Israel. That's their big main cause there. And so they're scolding Donald Trump today. They're scolding Trump. They're scolding the American people. And they're saying, wow, because of America's inaction, Iranians will die. Because of Trump's inaction, because of Trump's broken promises to the Middle East, Iran will destabilize. And I'm sitting here and it's like, I know the exact type of people you are. I know the exact type of people you are. Everybody knows somebody like you. They start shit everywhere they go. Everywhere they go, they can't help but run their mouth and start shit and try to start a fight. And then once they've decided who their target is and they're going to start a fight, looks like a fight's going to start. And then they turn around and they look at you. They say, hey, you're going to have my back, right? Say, excuse me? It's like, you promised you'd have my back. Like, wait a second. You just walked into the room, started talking trash on everybody, and now you're looking at me to defend you. That's who these people are. These are the people starting shit in the Middle East. These are the people starting shit in the Middle East with Iran, with Jordan, with Lebanon, all on behalf of Israel. These are the people that are in the Middle East starting wars with every single one of Israel's neighbors. And now the neighbors are pissed. And now the neighbors are fed up. And now the neighbors are ready to fight. And so what do? They turn around and they look at us and they say, oh, you're going to help, right? You have my back, right? You're going to come fight for me, right? And the American people are standing here, we're like, no. Oh, but what's going to happen to us? What's going to happen? They're going to beat us up. They're going to fight us now. Oh my gosh, it's devastating. It's going to be destabilizing. It's the worst thing, you promised. Hey, maybe stop starting fights that you can't take care of yourself. That's who these people are. Who do these people think that they are, entitled to our blood and our treasure? Who do these people think that they are? We don't owe you anything. I am so sick of it. If you don't want to have a war with Iran, then don't start a war with Iran. If you don't want to destabilize the Middle East, then stop with all the regime change wars. And then it's the same story every time. Oh, America, you owe us. Oh, America, we need your money. We need your military. We need your blood and treasure. Please, America. And we're all sitting here trying to mind our own business. We're all sitting here just trying to get by, just trying to keep our head above water, pay our bills. And here come all the entitled brats. Here come all the entitled brats from the Middle East. Here come all the entitled brats from Europe. And they say, America must defend us. You promised us. No. No. And you know what? Sometimes you have to learn a lesson in life, don't you? Sometimes you need to learn a lesson. It's time for America to stop defending these people. It's time for America to stop bailing these people out. They've been going around starting wars and talking trash on everybody around the world, and then they look at us and they say, oh, come help us. Please, more money. Please, more military aid. No, you did this. You caused this. You started the war. You started the fight. You did this, not us. We're done. We're out. And you see just even the slightest hesitation from Trump. Doesn't want to do a regime change war. The slightest hesitation from Trump. They're like, Trump must strike. Trump must kill. Trump must bomb. And Trump's like, well, we're going for diplomacy. We'll do sanctions, but I just talked to Iran, and here's what they told me. They're not killing protesters. They're killing all the Israeli insurgents. Oh, my gosh, we've been betrayed. Oh, my gosh, we've been betrayed by America. You broke your promise. Screw you. Okay, fine. Screw you too. Bye. Bye. Go leech off someone else. Go try to be an entitled brat to any other country on earth. I think you'll find you're going to come up empty. We're sick of you spoiled, entitled brats. We don't owe you anything. You should be thanking us. You should be begging us. You should be on your knees groveling to America. You should be on your knees. You should be cleaning our feet. You should be cleaning our streets. You should be volunteering in our military. Oh, no. You just want to talk all the trash, and then you want to call us up when the work needs to get done. We're done with it. It's over. This is your last ride. And I just wish and maybe hope that Trump has the exact same sentiment as us at this point. He's just sick of you. He's sick of the entitlement like the rest of us. I hope that's the case. I hope that's the hesitation. Who are these people? Who are these foreigners that think that we are their slaves? That I'm supposed to work, you're supposed to work your entire life so that they can take our money and use our military to fight the wars that they start. We're done. We're out. Good luck. Bye. Go be an entitled, spoiled brat to some other country and see if they bail you out. We're done. Please shuffle along. We owe you nothing. This needs to be the attitude. I'm nauseous. I'm nauseous watching these people beg America. No, demand America fight their wars. I'm so sick of it. It drives me nuts. And by the way, that is what's going on in Iran. And they just made up that 20,000 number. The White House is saying they think it's 2,000. So the 20,000 number just totally made up. Iran's foreign minister and Iran's diplomatic team, they've told the White House and they've released press conferences. They're saying, we're not killing protesters. We're literally rounding up the foreign insurgents. They're rounding up the Israelis. They're rounding up Mossad. That's what they're doing. They are going in there and they're rounding up the foreign insurgents that are bringing in the guns. They're rounding up the Mossad agents that are running the color revolution on the ground. That's who they're bringing in. That's who they've arrested. And maybe that's who they've killed. Maybe there's other people being killed. But that's the operation that they're running. And you can't deny that that's true. They all bragged about how Israel is running it. They all bragged about how Mossad is running it. There are actual Iranian protesters in there against the regime, and they're telling Israel to leave them alone. They're telling Israel go home. Tremors in Israel's Negev desert spark nuke test buzz amid Iran crisis. Well, oh, please, God, don't let it be. Don't let it be. A shallow 4.2 magnitude earthquake in Israel's Negev desert near Dimona has sparked chatter about a nuclear test. Dimona is where Israel's nuclear facility is located. The tremors came even as the U.S. threatened Iran with strikes amid protests by Iranians against the Khamenei regime. Iran considers Israel its mortal enemy and would make it a target in case of attack. So now you look at all this, you wonder, is Netanyahu buying time right now for a nuke? It would, these people are such liars, including Netanyahu. You have to assume that they're lying about everything. So Mike Waltz, kind of a disgraced member of the Trump administration, but Mike Waltz is now the U.S. ambassador to the UN. And Waltz was addressing the UN today. And Waltz told the UN that Iran is closer to a nuclear weapon than it's ever been. The same story. So nothing is working. The protests aren't working. Nothing is working. So they're going back to Iran nuke. They just can't. They can't get Trump to do the regime change war. They can't get Trump to launch the strikes. So now they're back to Iran has a nuke. Now I know how these liars operate. So now I'm sitting here thinking, I'm saying, okay, you say Iran has a nuke. Trump says they don't, and we blew up their capabilities. And then there's rumors of a nuclear test in Israel with Netanyahu trying to buy time. You know what? Maybe it's Israel that has the nuke. Maybe it's Israel that's planning on doing a nuke. That's how these liars operate. Every accusation is a confession. Is Israel the one with the nuke? Is Israel the one that's thinking about dropping a nuke? So they're blaming it all on Iran? Now, there's a lot of different polling data out here on this. A Quinnipiac poll, the majority of American voters, 70%, including the majority of Republicans, 53%, oppose U.S. military action against Iran over the protests. It's a very similar number when it comes to taking Greenland, by the way. Very similar number there. So there's not really the public support. Even amongst Republicans now, folks, even amongst Republicans, and this is only going one direction. It's only going one direction. And if you want to, put it to the metrics test, why is it only going one direction? Well, because the generations of Americans that really support Israel, older generational right-wingers, Republican voters, they're old. And you know what happens. You get old, you die. So a lot of the public support for Israel is literally dying off. The younger generations, the left and the right, they're totally opposed to Israel. And then you just have Republicans that are maybe middle of the road, right-leaning, whatever, but they're just sick of the bad foreign policy, or they want to prioritize things in our country first. They're sick about hearing it over there, so now they're switching over. It's only going one direction. And the powers that be know this, so what are they going to do? Well, they're going to censor, they're going to smear, they're going to attack, and then maybe try to start a war to change this opinion, a false flag maybe. They're going for broke. They know this is their last gasp, folks. They know it. They're going to do whatever it takes to initiate their plans. So I don't see them stopping. I don't see them stopping the attempts at a regime change in Iran. They're not going to stop. And then there's AIPAC. You want some salt in the wound? So Congress just passed a $3.3 billion security assistance bill to Israel. Another one. Yes, another one. And this is AIPAC bragging. The pro-Israel provisions in the bill further reinforce the bipartisan and ironclad support for the U.S.-Israel partnership in Congress. In other words, they own both sides of Congress, and they just voted the votes that they buy, the votes that AIPAC purchases, Why does AIPAC spend hundreds of millions of dollars in U.S. politics? Here's why right here, folks. Here's why right here. Because then they get to vote to give themselves $3.3 billion. Pretty good investment. Hey, we invest $200 million in American politics to buy their politicians and buy their votes, and then we make them vote to send us $3.3 billion. Boy, that's a multi-billion-dollar profit for Israel on behalf of AIPAC, paid for by the American taxpayer. But stop talking about Israel, of course. Stop talking about Israel's influence, you know. Two aircraft from China enter Iran during the no-fly zone, fuel speculations of arms deliveries amongst U.S. tensions. So you saw the Russian flights, now apparently the Chinese flights. Folks, the fight for Warner Brothers is apparently not over. Even though it looked like it was a dead deal and Netflix was going to win easily, apparently the Ellisons are not done. The fight for Warner Brothers may get uglier. After multiple rejections, David Ellison could hit the nuclear button in his quest. The nuclear button. Boy, is that going to be the trend? From the Ellisons of the world? David Ellison could hit the nuclear button in his quest to wrest the studio empire from the would-be buyer Netflix. But this next fight could be more public and bruising. Why won't they just let it go? What is in it for them to basically go down to zero to make this happen? They're trying to scrap up everything they can to get this deal. So what is in it for them? Why is this the case? You thought it was over. Not so fast. Not so fast. Here come the Ellisons again. Trump-backing podcaster Sean Ryan rips into the White House for protecting pedophiles. So I saw the clip from Sean Ryan, basically just, he's asking the same questions that the rest of us are asking. Like, where are the arrests? Where are the arrests? Where are the Epstein files? Where are the Epstein clients? Where are the arrests? Where's the deep state? He's asking the same questions any fair, honest observer would be. Of course, I think we have a pretty good idea what's going on with that. I think everybody pretty much knows that they can't expose the Epstein network because it was an intelligence operation. It was a blackmail operation. And Epstein was running a blackmail operation on bankers and politicians, celebrities, and people that were popular, influential, famous, rich. He was running the blackmail operation. He was doing it on behalf of the intelligence community. He was selling this blackmail to the intelligence communities. So that's why they can't expose it. And then, a lot of these guys are probably friends with Trump, friends of the administration. Who knows at this point in the administration? So, they're not going to expose the Epstein list. They can't show you how the world is really run. They can't show you that your government is really run by blackmailed politicians. So they're just shutting it down, and they're saying that they're all victims. And we explained why yesterday. And again, I see a way out for this on Trump. And I'm not promoting this. I want the Epstein files. I want to know about, as if we don't, but it's like, let's show the world the blackmail network. Let's actually do the transparency. Let's actually do the file release. Let's actually explain to the world. Let's explain to America, this is how your government got so corrupt. Here's part of it. Blackmailed politicians and Epstein working on behalf of foreign intelligence agencies to blackmail your politicians. Let's get it. We all know it. Just give it to us. But it's like, fine. You don't want to go down as a pedophile protector? I said it yesterday. I'll say it again today. Deflect onto Pizzagate. Again, I want the Epstein list. This is not an excuse-making session. But it's like, give us something. We're starving here. Just deflect to Pizzagate. Just deflect to the Clintons. Just do it. Remember this from Elon Musk? The hammer of justice is coming. And he reposted a picture. This was November 4th, 2024. So right before the election. The hammer of justice is coming. John Podesta's friend who debunked Pizzagate, arrested for raping toddlers, is the headline, reposted by Elon Musk. And he says the hammer of justice is coming. Now, I don't know what Elon Musk knows about this story with the Podestas on there and a pizza place. But he says the hammer of justice is coming, and he reposts Pizzagate. Just do that, Trump. You don't want to go down as the pedo protector? I'm just giving you free advice. Susie Wiles won't give it to you. Just do that. Just go with the Pizzagate files. Go to the WikiLeaks. Go to the Wiener laptop. Go to the Clintons with Epstein. Did you guys see this? This is like this is like a total ripoff of Candace Owens and I think Kanye West too that first did this. Why some black Americans are making a Blacksit out of the U.S. Didn't they call that a Blexit? That was the political Blexit of black Americans leaving the Democrat Party. That was Kanye. That was Ye. Formerly Kanye West. That was Ye and Candace Owens that were leading that. So now it's the Blagsit, though. Now black Americans are apparently fleeing the country. Well, Akon, actually, if you know, Akon is, he's trying to fly black Americans to Africa. He's trying to take them home, he said. But that's a separate story. This is one of those things. Rand Paul, he has just introduced a new bill, and you're like, well, why should we even have to have this bill? This shouldn't even be happening. Senator Rand Paul introduces a bill that targets welfare waste and benefits to non-citizens without legal status. So in other words, Rand Paul's new bill will stop all welfare to non-citizens. It will stop all welfare to non-citizens. Why are non-citizens getting welfare to begin with is the question we should be asking. Why? But they are, and Rand Paul is trying to stop it, and this is who Trump decides he's going to attack while he sides with Lindsey Graham. Maybe one of the most telling things, unfortunately, of this administration. All right, we do have some audience in Australia. You guys are probably well aware of this. You've got new hate speech laws there. The combating anti-Semitism bills. Yes, they have combating anti-Semitism bills now on the books in Australia. And now that these laws are in the books, they're wiping up social media. Nearly 5 million accounts removed under Australia's new social media ban. Governments around the world are watching the rollout of the landmark law. Now, this one is targeting minors. So they're sweeping up social media accounts. They're banning people that are under 16. They're banning anybody that posts what they view as anti-Semitic. So this is happening right now in Australia. We played a clip yesterday from the Jerusalem Post conference. Here's another one. Again, it's the weirdest thing when you listen to this stuff. It's actually hilarious. I was laughing my ass off earlier. I don't know if we'll see if it can make me laugh twice. So here's this lady, and she's talking about, you got to ban anti-Semitic content. So, the whole point of this is, I guess it's like we Jews don't like being accused of running the world, so therefore we're going to cut off your access to the world that we don't run. It really is comical. I mean, it really is hilarious. And so here's another example.
As part of a robust framework to combat anti-Semitism, we have industry-leading policies designed with the safety of the Jewish community in mind. We remove content that threatens harm through intimidation or violence directed at Jews, Israelis, and Zionists. We do not allow Holocaust denial and distortion. We prohibit harmful stereotypes about Jewish people, such as claims that Jews control financial, political, or media institutions. We remove hate speech against Zionists when these harmful stereotypes about Jews are invoked. Meta also has a unique policy that prohibits the glorification, support, or representation of hate and terrorist organizations or individuals. It might seem simple to enforce these policies, but consider the extraordinary challenges we face at scale when millions of posts are shared every day on Meta's platforms. Context matters. For example, shortly after October 7th, people began sharing footage of Hamas kidnapping Israelis. Some people shared this content to glorify Hamas and celebrate the kidnappings. Of course, we strictly prohibit content with this intent. However, many others shared the exact same footage to speak out against the kidnappings. Some wanted to ensure the world understood.
So the exact speech is good or bad depending on who shares it. Have you ever read Animal Farm? Some pigs are more equal than others. Some animals are more equal than others. This is literally 1984. This is literally Animal Farm. Two people can share the same video, but only one person gets to share it. The other person doesn't. It's unbelievable. And it's funny, you can't help it if you follow this stuff. So we're not going to allow people that are calling for violence, is what they say. Of course, it's the self-declared in protection of Jews. So we're going to not allow anybody calling for violence in protection of Jews. But, when Laura Loomer or Randy Fine or anybody like that says that Iran needs to be bombed and the Iran regime all needs to die, that's okay. That's okay. And I'm sure if they share Hamas videos, that's okay. And I'm sure if you share videos from the Gaza Strip saying, hey, this is bad, you'll also be banned. I mean, this is so obvious. This is crazy. It's hilarious. They are picking and choosing who gets to speak. That's what they are announcing. They are picking and choosing who gets to speak, who gets to share content, who gets to exist online. And then they say, we cannot allow these stereotypes that Jews control what's online. So we're going to defeat these stereotypes by controlling what's online. Is this a South Park episode? Is this a Saturday Night Live skit? It's pretty funny. So you're really convincing. You're convincing everybody you don't run the world by showing everybody how you run the world. That's interesting strategy. Let's see how it works. NCAA basketball players and gambling fixers are charged for allegedly rigging games. You keep hearing these stories now. This is a pretty big one, guys. An investigation into a sprawling betting scheme to rig NCAA and Chinese Basketball Association games ensnared 26 people, including more than a dozen college basketball players who tried to fix games as recently as last season, federal prosecutors said Thursday. The scheme generally revolved around fixers recruiting players with the promise of a big payment in exchange for purposefully underperforming during a game, prosecutors said. The fixers would then place big bets against the players' teams in those games, defrauding sports books and other bettors, authorities say. Calling it an international criminal conspiracy, U.S. Attorney David Metcalf told reporters that this case represents a significant corruption of the integrity of sports. The indictment suggests that many others, including unnamed players, had a role in the scheme but weren't charged. And Metcalf said the investigation was continuing. You wonder how big this is now. And, I mean, go back to, was it the 1906? What was the shoeless Joe Jackson 8 men out? Is that like 1906, 1907 World Series, 8 men out? So people have been fixing games for a while. If you really want to do a deep dive, there is an author. His name is Brian Toohey. He's written at least 3 books. I think the most recent being Larceny Games. He got access to FBI records. The FBI's caught NFL games being fixed, all of this stuff. He does a very conclusive presentation of that in his books. His name is Brian Toohey. But NBA, NFL, he's got all the access to the files. He publishes it. So it's been going on for a while, but it's like it used to be where there had to be some sort of like a power structure to do that. So it's like you had to have the fixer, the recruiter, as they say in that story, that has the money, that runs the book. But now that gambling is essentially legal, most states, I think it's legal now. But it's like even in Texas, if I wanted to gamble, I could gamble, whether you can hop on a VPN or you have prediction markets. It's virtually the same thing. So now you don't need the book. You don't need the book. You don't need the infrastructure of an underground sports gambling world. You can just do it yourself. All you need is a friend or two. Maybe you need a money guy. But you can do this yourself. You can throw a game all by yourself now. Place a bet against yourself. And there's a lot of these accounts on social media that focus on that. And they kind of focus on monitoring lines and games and betting trends and stuff. And then they'll watch the game and they'll see somebody do something and they're like, that's odd. And then that play ends up determining an over or an under. A player averages 18 points a game in college basketball. Over under his scoring, 17.5, goes out there, scores 10. Oh. Or 16 or 17. They want to play it close to the chest. And then, of course, there's the new phenomenon that people just think it's rigged from the very top and scripted. I think that the NFL has interests in the results of the games. I don't think it's fair to say that it's scripted. I don't think that you could say it's scripted. But I do believe the NFL has an interest in the results of the games. And why wouldn't they? We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar industry. And, of course, they're going to try to maximize their profits. And so, I don't know, let's say it's, what year is it? 2015? Was it 2015? The NFL's best interest was having the Los Angeles Rams in the Super Bowl and not the New Orleans Saints. And so the Los Angeles Rams are able to commit a blatant pass interference to win the game. And the Rams go on. So I think when there's that much money going on, the interest of the NFL is to get the best result possible for them. But I don't think you can say it's scripted, and I don't know if you can say they have full control. But now everybody questions everything with the new gambling phenomenons. And rightfully so, by the way. All right, we're getting into some of the lighter stuff now. In fact, let's do this. Let's take the final break. And we'll get into some of the lighter stuff here on the other side. Yeah, let's do that. We've gone through pretty much the important stuff for the show. We'll come back. We got some lighter stuff. I do still have some heavier stuff that I kind of put into the pile that ends up usually in the leftovers here. So we may have time for that. We'll get to your super chats. Maybe we'll even take some phone calls. But let's take our final break for the show here on the Owen Report.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
All right, guys, I'm sure you've heard about red light therapy by now. And if you haven't, I think you're going to be hearing more about it really soon. MyRedLight.com is a great source to find information. And when you go to MyRedLight.com, you will see, listeners of this show, my face will be at the top. My Red Light is a sponsor of the show. You'll see my face up there. When you go to that website, you can get exclusive deals on their red light panels and all of their red light products. Just go to myredlight.com and you can see all of it for yourself. Now, I was 50-50. I was like, is it time? I'm an old man. I play ball with these young kids, high school, college kids. They run me up and down. I can barely handle it anymore. So I started playing ball again this year, and it was like, I don't know if I can hack it. I don't know. The bones, the body, it might be too old now. And so I was concerned. I was like, let's go for one more year at least. Let's just give it one more year. Let's see if we can still play. I swear I am getting results when it comes to soreness and recovery thanks to red light therapy. And whether it's the knee specifically, whether it's the muscles in the leg that get sore, or even you twist an ankle, it aids in recovery. And it's been scientifically proven. You can look at all the studies. Just go to myredlight.com. It's got all the information available right there. Really an incredible thing, but it's not just recovery. It has proven anti-aging effects when it comes to wrinkles, cellular development. Really incredible. So they've got different kind of wraps. They've got full panels. You can look into it for yourself, folks, but I am a major proponent of red light therapy. I can't go a day without it now. Can't go a day without it. Helps testosterone levels, man, by the way. Helps testosterone levels. But all the science is right there. myredlight.com. Just an incredible technology. So beneficial in so many ways. Learn about it for yourself. Look at the different packages. Join the red light revolution. myredlight.com.
It's the fastest 3 hours on the internet. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
I got to have the red light therapy in the winter because there's no sun. I can't go out and sunbathe. So you got to at least have it for the winter. You guys in the chats are hilarious. The Fed bootlicker report. That's funny. I laugh at that. The Fed bootlicker report. I'm assuming you're talking about me. I'm the Fed bootlicker. If I'm the Fed bootlicker, then we are doing great. If the guy that wants to abolish the Fed is a Fed bootlicker, then wow, this country is really doing some great things in the near future, isn't it? So that's pretty funny. I do want to go to the super chats. We will get to the super chats. Maybe we'll have some time for phone calls. We shall see. Let's go to some of the lighter stuff. Well, I guess some of it's heavy, but we're kind of stepping away from the real current events, political type stuff. I wonder, what do you think of when you see this story? I'll tell you what I thought of. So this is the story of a duck what you're going to see is this duck in a forest totally burned down, but the duck went into the burning forest to save her egg. Forest all burnt down. And then nice crispy duck here. Runs into the burning forest to try to protect her eggs, try to save her eggs. Okay. It goes through my head as I'm seeing this that even a duck understands how precious life is. And it's incredible that humans have gotten to this point where we don't even value life, that we'll just throw it away. Even a duck is smart enough to know that you do everything to try to save your lineage. Everything. Even a duck knows that. And we got these women out here that have abortions and brag about it. You are literally dumber than an animal. You are lower than an animal when you do that. Do you understand that? You're lower than a duck when you don't have the appreciation for life that you would throw away like that. You're lower than a duck. I don't know. That's where my mind went. But that's what it is. Now, I was complaining the other day. You know, let me also say this too about the X algorithm. Let me step away from that for a second. I have been meaning to shoot a short report on this, but whatever. I haven't done it, so let's just do it now. The X algorithm is actually, I think, the best it's ever been, and I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback for this, and that's okay. There's room for disagreement. I think the X algorithm is the best it's ever been. The problem is, let me help you out. Here's the problem with the X algorithm. It is so sensitive that you have to recognize that. The reason why I like the X algorithm is because it is so sensitive. And when you understand you're just interacting with AI the entire time, folks, that's all it is. You're just interacting with AI, and it's so sensitive. So anyway, I mentioned the new Pokemon game the other day, and I was, complaining about these new video games and how it's just like, I don't know. And then, once the Sean Strickland came out and he was talking about video games, he was like, man, video games just don't hit the same anymore. And I'm like, well, maybe it's because we're getting older. Maybe it's because the games are just not fun anymore. But so anyway, so I said that. So somebody sends me a Pokemon thing. Somebody sends me a Pokemon thing on X, and I open it up, and I liked it, and I looked at it, and I smiled, whatever. My facial expressions that my phone is spying on me for here saw that I enjoyed that video that somebody sent me, a Pokemon video, and now my feed is just filled with Pokemon, and I don't know if I should complain or not. But anyway, no, guys, here's the deal. Let me tell you the trick with the X algorithm. You have to understand you're interacting with an AI. That's all it is. You're just interacting with AI. And it is extremely sensitive. Extremely sensitive. So if it sees you like a couple similar posts about a news story or a trend or a video game, whatever, the algorithm is going to pick up on that and start pumping it into your feed. So yes, it's sensitive, which can get a little obnoxious, but it gives you total control. So if you want to stop seeing one thing, then go into a different realm and start liking other stuff. And then all of a sudden your feed will be other stuff. Now, this is all in the For You feed. The following feed is still just people you follow, so that's totally customizable. It's only gonna give you who you follow, but it's the For You feed that is where it's so sensitive, and you can kind of manipulate it based off of how you interact with it, what you like, whatever. I think it's the best. I also got to say, kind of getting back into the streaming world as an individual, the X video platform might also be the best. It might also be the best too, as far as, I don't know, the quality. It seems like Rumble might have the best quality, But as far as quality, the least amount of latency, it seems like X has the best of all the worlds of quality, latency, everything. It seems like X might be the best there. And things upload on X really fast as well. So I know there's plenty of problems. Plenty of reasons to complain. But I can't help but notice, I think the new algorithm is good. I think the improvements they made to video content is really good. But if you've noticed the frustration with the sensitivity on X, that's because you're interacting with an AI that is it's like reacting so fast to what you're doing. So you can manipulate it, but you have to be aware of it. So I don't know, maybe this will help you. Maybe this will help you on your X feed. But it is certainly the most sensitive out there, no doubt about it. All right, man. Now getting back to this, so now all this Pokemon stuff is popping up on my feed, and this is what we want. So somebody made this. If you're a Gen 1 Pokemon respecter, a Gen 1 Pokemon player, which I would still argue is the best generation, maybe Gen 2, because you could say it's Gen 1 and Gen 2. So maybe you could say Gold and Silver and Crystal, just because Red, Blue, and Yellow are built into the game. But this is like it's like a new animation front to the original Red, Blue, Yellow games, which they kind of did with the first game on Switch, but they brought in the Pokemon Go elements, and it wasn't the same game at all because of that. This is what we want. This is what we want. We don't want all the new fancy gadgets and fancy tricks and all the other crap that comes along with these new games. Can you give us, can we get something for us? Can the olders, we're not quite the elders yet, so we'll just be the olders. We're not the olds, and we're not the elders, but we're the olders. Can we get something for the olders? There's no sports games for us anymore. They all suck. All the sports games suck. All the role-playing games suck, take too long, too complicated. You can't put it down and come back a week later. You're lost. Suck. We had hopes. Oh, maybe we'll get a new Grand Theft Auto. Is that even real? Is that even a real thing? They're going to do a new James Bond. They'll probably blow that. They put out these new Pokemon games. They're all these new confounded angles and things and tricks. It's like, what am I doing? I don't even know. Give me the original. Make a video game for the olds. Honestly, just remake Madden 2005. Just remake all the old stuff, and I guarantee you, people in their 30s will buy it so fast that you won't even be able to keep them on the shelves. If you did this, all just a graphic remake of the exact same format of the original Gen 1, I guarantee you 30-year-olds that you wouldn't be able to keep this on the shelf. Same goes for the old Maddens. Same goes for the old MVP baseballs, the old NHLs. With NHL, you go back to the 90s. Just give us NHL 94. Just remake NHL 94. We just need 4 buttons. Can I just get a video game with 4 buttons? That's all I want. I want 4 buttons. I don't want 10,000 different button combinations. I want 4 buttons. And I want to be able to pick it up and play it and not need to read a damn schematic. I want to be able to pick it up and play it and then not play for a month and then pick it up and still know how to play. I want to be able to pick it up with a friend and not have to, teach them how to read hieroglyph to play. Can you give us something? Can you give the olds something? Or maybe don't, because we don't need to be playing them anyway. But what am I supposed to do when I'm laying in bed and I can't sleep, guys? I'm just gonna get a Game Boy. Now you can download those on your phone now. All right, I have to admit I'm a little jealous here. I got to admit it, guys. I'm a little jealous. I will admit it. I still don't understand the content. And I think the individual here is a little obnoxious, but I will admit I'm jealous. So take this all with a grain of salt. So I Show Speed. He's a big streamer. I think he's big on YouTube. He becomes the first streamer to ever get access to the pyramids. Let me put this up. So he gets access.
Yo, show the drone shot. Show the drone shot, man.
I never understood
Can you
this
like
content.
put it?
I don't get it.
Like how you did in the
But I
beginning.
can't deny it's popular. He's big on.
Show the
YouTube.
drone shot of the pyramids, y'all. I just want to show y'all that I'm actually at the pyramid.
I've never understood.
And I'm
I don't
actually at
understand
the
why
stream
people
inside
like
the
this.
pyramid.
I don't understand why
So
people
show the
watch
drone
this.
shot.
I don't know what they get out of it.
Switch to the drone shot.
Okay, whatever. He's
wow,
popular.
Chad, we really here, bro.
I
really
admit,
here.
I'm jealous that he gets to go to the
Really
pyramid.
inside the pyramids, bro.
So
he should go
gets
like he
access
should get like
to
a
the pyramids.
bird's
He's the
eye view.
first streamer
Like a bird's eye
to
view.
ever get access to
Holy
the pyramids.
guacamole, bro. This is
jealous. That
honestly
totally
crazy.
awesome.
So I see.
But you know, here's what kind of gets me. Here's what kind of rubs me the wrong way. And again, understand I'm jealous. It's okay. All right. But this is a guy who kind of does like shock content, entertainment content, whatever, just to try to get a viral video, do anything to get a viral video, right? And he's good at it, to his credit. He's good at it. But so he gets access. He's the first streamer in the pyramids. And I'm watching some of this and I'm just like, oh my God. Look, nothing against him. I don't know him. He could be a nice guy, whatever. He's popular. I'm totally jealous he gets to go and get this pyramid content. But I'm like, why can we give this to somebody that knows what they're experiencing? Like, can we give access to somebody, a streamer, a social media account, whatever? Like, can we give somebody access to it that actually can understand and appreciate what it is they're actually witnessing and experiencing, and they can help their audience like learn more about it? And it's like, he doesn't even know. I mean, he seems genuinely overwhelmed by the experience. He seems genuinely like kind of in awe of the whole thing, but he has no idea of the significance, I feel like. So I don't know. You tell me.
This one was built within the pyramid.
Bro, this is insane, man. We really live inside the pyramids, bro. Oh my God.
Watch your head. This is the first ascending passage. It's about 35 meters.
Come on. Oh my God. Woo. That is a long walk. Oh my gosh.
That's really huge.
Oh.
I like that gold light.
We are inside right now, y'all.
We are inside the pyramid.
Holy crap, how far is this?
This is about
It's only a third of
35
the way.
meters.
There's a longer one.
It's a longer one?
Yes, it's a long one, but we have another ascending passage goes out for 47 meters. Do you think adventure would be easy?
So there you go. Pretty cool, though. Pretty cool getting access to the pyramids. I'm totally jealous of the kid. I tell you, I'm totally jealous. Good for him. He gets the access. But it's just like, man, he doesn't even know. He doesn't know about the secrets of the pyramids. It's like he can't really even do anything except be amazed by it. I'd like to see them give access to a streamer that can actually like get in there and talk about the history and anthropology and, the secret technology. It's just, that's just me. I'm just nitpicking. So another popular streamer, another one that I just never understood where the value is. I never understood why he's popular, but another one you probably heard of, Kai Cenat. Now, I don't know all the background of this, but apparently he had some breakup, some tragic, some romance tragedy or something. So he's now gone from what I would call worthless internet streams, and he's doing like self-help stuff. He's trying to learn how to read better so he can communicate better. Listen to this. This I like. So before you guys are like, okay, enough of this garbage. Hold on. This is a popular internet streamer who went from doing worthless content, totally worthless content. Listen to what he's doing now.
Honestly, the reason why I started reading was because I didn't like the way I spoke. To be honest, I wanted to articulate myself better. And I noticed when I got into arguments and I had to get a point across, people were not taking me serious at all at serious moments. And I would have anxiety build up, and then I would start over my words and I not know what happened. So hopefully me reading, and I also have been writing as well, helps improve the way I articulate myself. Also, another reason why I want to read more, because I feel like as I am making my venture into clothing, I feel like when people have to ask me questions about the garments that I end up releasing, I should be able to articulate myself perfectly and explain what is going on and my thought process behind each garment and the inspiration. So yeah, that's really why. I don't know if it's going to work. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Hey, I say good for him. I say more of that. It's good. I'm sure his audience is young kids. That's good. No more just worthless, valueless entertainment. It's actually promoting things that can be beneficial, positive. How about that? Now, so again, I don't know the background, but apparently he had some breakup with a girl and it just like totally broke him. So look at his content. Folks, he used to like hang out in his basement and have, strippers twerking and stuff. Now he's doing workout videos. He's doing self-help videos. He's doing learning how to read videos, learning how to sew videos. I like it. I wonder what will happen with the, with the views and everything. It's a change of career path essentially for him, but he's probably rich enough. It doesn't matter. I say good for him. There is nothing, this is why it's like young men need this type of advice. This is the right way to respond to a breakup. This is the right way. Men, this is it. You don't weep. You don't cry. You move on and you improve yourself. That's it. If you're hurting after a breakup, the only thing you can do is improve yourself. That's it. That's it. If there's nothing you can do, if you're truly hurting, heartbreak, whatever it is, if you're truly hurting from a breakup, the only thing that will solve that issue is self-improvement. That is it. And you never stop self-improving until it's done. That is it. Now, I would say just don't get emotional over women, but that's a different response, and sometimes it's not out of your control, or it's not in your control. It's out of your control. But hey, breaks up with his girlfriend, all of a sudden is doing self-help and improvement and motivational videos, and he wants to learn how to read. I like it. I think that's great. So we're moving. Maybe it's a good sign. Maybe it's a good sign. Meta has been a complete disaster. Meta lays off 1,500 people from its metaverse division. Metaverse has been a disaster. Metaverse has been a failure. I don't think anybody's in there. I think it's empty. Nobody's in the metaverse. They spent so much money. How much money did they spend on metaverse? They spent so much money, and it's dead. Let me see if we can get a number on that. It had to be hundreds of millions. I want to say like 200 million. The metaverse. Have you ever spent a second in the metaverse? I haven't. I never will. No way. No way. How much do you think was spent to build the metaverse, guys? How much? Google's Gemini, Google's AI is saying $70 billion. Now, there's a Business Insider story. This is from October of 2022. Meta has spent $36 billion building the metaverse, but still has very little to show for it, while tech sensations such as the iPhone, Xbox, and Amazon Echo cost way less. Yeah, this is October of 2022. 36 billion was the number they were saying. Again, this is Google Gemini, Center for Economic Policy. So they have their sources here. They're saying it cost over $70 billion to build the metaverse. So now this is like the whole virtual reality thing with the goggles and everything. I never had any interest in that. it seems like there isn't any interest in that. So virtual reality, personal virtual reality headsets, all of this stuff, it looks like it's been a total flop. A total flop. There's no interest. And I'm wondering if AI doesn't go the same way. Now, again, AI will have its purposes. AI will have it'll find a way to have purposes in, industry, logistics, whatever. But as far as a consumer product is concerned, I don't know if the interest is going to stick. I think people still prefer real. They don't like artificial. And I think that's why the metaverse failed. Why would I want to walk around in a fake world of virtual reality when the real world is out there? I think it's the same thing. Why would I want artificial intelligence when there's real human intelligence out there? I wonder if there's not going to be a consumer bust on AI like there was with virtual reality. Now, in fairness, it was never really that popular. Virtual reality was never even really that big of a trend, unlike AI, which is $70 billion on the metaverse, and nobody wants to go there. That's crazy. But there it is. All right, Bill Murray, a national treasure, Bill Murray, talking about the fake news. How can you not like Bill Murray talking about fake news?
When I read Wired, the book written by, Woodward, about Belushi, I read like 5 pages of Wired, and I went, oh my God, they framed Nixon. like all of a sudden I went, oh my God, if this is what he writes about my friend that I've known, for half my adult life, which is completely inaccurate, talking to like the people of the outer circle getting the story. What the hell could they have done to Nixon? I just felt like if he did this to my friend like this, and I acknowledge I only read 5 pages, but the 5 pages I read, made me want to set fire to the whole thing.
Jamie, see if you can
those
find
5 pages. I went, if he did this to Belushi, what he did to Nixon is probably soiled for me too. I can't take it. And I know you say, well, you could have 2 sources and everything like that, but the 2 sources that he had, if he had them for the Wired book, were so far outside the inner circle that it was criminal, cruel. And the reasoning for it is that the most famous person ever to come from Wheaton, Illinois, is John Belushi. The second most famous person to come from Wheaton, Illinois, is Harold Red Grange, the football player. And the third most famous person to come from Wheaton, Illinois, is Bob Woodward.
Really? Wow.
So there's all my controversy for today. That's all I got. I got a bone about that one. I got a bone for Woodward ever since I read that.
Well, once you see it from something that once you see propaganda or bullshit from someone that and you see a distorted perception, it really opens your eyes to the fact that a lot of the things you read are horseshit.
Right there, folks. Right there. I think that explains it pretty well. But just to reiterate, that's exactly what, when you become into these stories, let's say, when you become part of these stories and you experience things firsthand, or the story is about you, and then you read it and you're just like, oh my God, like they just totally make shit up. Literally, they just make it up. And I can't tell you how many times I was a part of that. And it really started during the Mike Brown riots for me when I was covering those in Ferguson, Missouri. And I was on the ground. I was covering those night after night, filming them, live streaming them. And you watch the news that morning, you'd get home, it's like, 3, 4 in the morning. Maybe you sleep a little bit. Maybe you catch the 6 a.m. news. Whatever. Eventually you see the coverage on TV and it's just like, They're just totally lying about everything that happened. Just totally lying. So that was kind of my first experience with it. And then maybe my second experience was going to some of the Trump rallies, you know, having those public street debates, what have you. And then I'd see some of the coverage and they'd make claims about me or about what led to the debate. And I'm just like, it's just total lies. They just make it up. They'd literally just make crap up. And then, of course, working at InfoWars and for Alex and everything else, you just see it almost every day at that point. But that's exactly what it is. It's like, okay, by now most people kind of have an idea how the media lies, how propaganda works. But it just, like Rogan said, it hits so much differently when you are either directly involved in the story or have direct, intimate knowledge of the story, or the story is even about you. And then you see what people say and then the different thoughts people have because of it. And you're just like, wow, they literally just make it up. They just make it up. And it's like, once you've done that, once you've seen that, you can never go back. That's why when officers get caught framing evidence, lying about testimony, cases get thrown out. Because once you've breached that trust, it's over. You can never be trusted again. So, Bill Murray, national treasure. Truly one of the all-time greats. Here's a throwback. How about a headline? How about a headline from 1986? Here in the Associated Press, or this is at least an Associated Press photo, I guess. This is from the Daily. Maybe you can read that. The Daily something. Math teachers protest against calculator use. How about that? Teachers against calculators. Elementary school teachers picket against the use of calculators in grade school. The teachers feel if students use calculators too early, they won't learn math concepts. I guess, you know, I always like at the outer edge of this. In grade school, there were only certain times where we were allowed to use a calculator. It was very rare. But there would be certain times where they would let us use a calculator in grade school. And then I remember it was still kind of, I guess I'm old enough, I would say. I'm old enough to remember when we got into high school and started doing like advanced math or whatever, and then you were supposed to use those calculators. I forget what they were called, like graphing calculators or whatever. So it was still kind of cool. It's like, oh, cool, we get to use this calculator, learn how to use this calculator. I guess I don't know what goes on in math now. They used to protest calculators. Imagine what they'd think of what we have access to in the classroom today. That was 1986. All right, I said this earlier. We've got some time. Let's go to Tim Burchett. So we covered you. Congress votes $3.3 billion for Israel, another $3.3 billion in aid for Israel. Congress just voted on that. Here's Tim Burchett telling you where another $90 billion is going that Congress just voted on.
Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett leaving the House floor in total disgust. Chip Roy's amendment to reduce the District of Columbia Appeals Court funding by 20% and strike the salary and expenses funding of Judge Boasberg and Boardman's staff. And you know that bunch, what they've been pulling is ridiculous. They've in my opinion, they completely got out of whack with what's going on. The next one was my buddy Eli Crane, Navy SEAL, unbelievable guy, one of my favorites up here. He prohibits funding for the National Endowment for Democracy. And that was, I forget how many millions of dollars, and that didn't pass. I don't. I'm so frustrated with this bunch up here. And then, of course, the big bill, it cost $90.1 billion. And guess what? It passed because it had all that garbage in there. It sends $1.425 billion to Egypt, and then we're going to give Jordan build them a wall, and they're firing missiles at other people. mean, what?
By the way, do you know, because this is what ends up happening in these conversations. So, okay, we give $3.3 billion to Israel in a special bill that's all for Israel, $3.3 billion, bipartisan vote, or nonpartisan vote, rather. And then they'll say, well, oh, but look, they gave money to Jordan. They gave money to Egypt. Do you realize that the American taxpayer pays that money to Egypt and pays that money to Jordan and pays that money to the other countries in the Middle East to buy them off from standing against Israel? So really, it's all for Israel. So we literally give them $3.3 billion just for them to have. And then we have to pay Egypt, and we have to pay Jordan, and we have to pay Lebanon, and we have to pay all the neighboring countries just to pay them off so that they don't go after Israel.
What the hell, folks? Excuse my language. $6.15 billion for foreign military financing program. And yeah, they're going to come back and say, oh, they're going to buy a bunch of arms from us. Well, my mama used to say, I don't like making my living off of suffering of others. And
that's called the military industrial complex. Thank you very much, Tim Burchett.
That's just pathetic. I don't know. I'm just disgusted with it. We've came up here to do something and we're not doing it. And they're going to pat themselves on the back. It was less than the last one, but we're funding a bunch of garbage. And it's a lot of this stuff we're funding, actually, when you dig into it, is funding stuff that Trump did away with. So you got to ask yourself, where the heck does the dadgum money go? And nobody's asking those dadgum questions. It's just, to me, it's pathetic, and it's disingenuous to the American public, and we need to start holding people accountable. So anyway, I'll keep voting my conscience, and we'll see what happens. Thank y'all for sending me here.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. One of the good ones. One of the good ones. I'll tell you what, since we're on this topic of wasteful spending, let's go to this clip. This is incredible, folks. This is truly incredible. Social Security has to be one of the biggest scams going. And this young lady actually crunched the numbers because she had a parent die. And she crunched the numbers of how much he paid into Social Security, and then he's obviously not going to see a dime of it. And so she really crunched the numbers. Unbelievable stuff that she found. I mean, maybe we're not so surprised, but if you really want to get down into the numbers of what a scam Social Security is, listen to this.
Social Security is such a joke. My mom passed away in November at 69 years old, and so me and my sisters have had to go through her finances. Her and my stepdad paid into Social Security, paid their taxes their whole lives. My stepdad died at 61 before he ever took any Social Security out. And so my mom, because his Social Security was more, my mom could only take his Social Security and hers just goes back into the system. Between the two of them, they paid over $1 million in Social Security throughout their lives.
Did you hear that? They paid $1 million in Social Security. Now, unfortunately, neither of them lived long enough to live off of Social Security. $1 million. And of course, hey, we want to take care of our elderly. We want to take care of our senior citizens. Okay, nobody's standing against that. But let's think pragmatically. What would be better? Saving that money for yourself? Saving that money for yourself, whether it's in a bank account that earns money, IRA, stocks, whatever, saving that money for yourself, or just giving it to the government and then never seeing a dime. So now, and I'm sure maybe, you think about the children. So now the children see, gee, my parents paid $1 million into Social Security. They're not going to see a dime of it. That could have been my money. That could have been something my parents left me. Instead, it's just the government robbing us dry. It's outrageous, these numbers.
My mom now didn't take Social Security out till she was 65, and she died at 69. So she was getting like $32,000 a year, times 4. Not that much, $120,000 she's taken out. Literally, the second you die, the funeral home tells the IRS and Social Security. That's like the first thing they do when they receive your loved one. so they can stop your Social Security check. So Social Security profited like $900,000 off my parents.
And you know this isn't an isolated story. And Social Security is still broke. And Social Security is still bankrupt.
Then you get taxed on Social Security. My mom was getting like $32,000 a year in Social Security. So 85% of that is taxable. Thank God she didn't have a mortgage payment, because just property taxes, electric bills, medical bills, all of that is more than $30,000 a year. What's even better is when someone dies, they send you a lump sum death payment of $255, which hasn't changed since 1954. So in 1954, you could pay for your funeral with the death payment. Like, you can't even get like a plastic box for $255 these days. People have to take out loans to have a funeral for their family. I swear we already live in hell. Like, for real. Somebody try to prove me otherwise.
Free my people. Free my people. I wish Trump had our back on the taxes. Now, Caroline Leavitt claimed today that you're going to see a huge rebate. I'm like, is this the White House trying to convince us to pay taxes? Because they saw the tax strike trending. So Leavitt claimed today, once somebody brought up taxes, and now nobody's really noticed, nobody's noticing a big difference in a tax change. Maybe the corporations, which I'm for that. Cut corporate taxes. I'm not against that. I'm for that. But the individual isn't really seeing a big difference in their bottom line because of a tax cut. So she was asked, her response is, you're going to see the tax cuts when you file your taxes. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, wait a second. Wait, whoa. What? Is this a trap? Is this a trick? Instead of having our back on the tax strike, instead they're going to try to trick us into filing our taxes, and they're saying that you're going to get your biggest refund ever. That's what they're saying. So that happened. So that's what happened. Hey, Sam Tripoli noticed something here, guys. You've probably seen or heard of the Greater Israel Project. It feels like that's what we're all fighting for. That's what we're all slaves for. So here's what is supposedly the Greater Israel Project. Well, Sam Tripoli noticed that, that's odd. It looked exactly like the Babylonian Empire, almost to a T. Anyway, that's just a thing. Just a little thing. All right, guys, let's get to the Super Chats. A couple minutes left here in the show. So let's go to our Super Chats, as we love to do at the end of the transmission. Robert Bickerstaff, faux news. Faux news. Yes, it's become the popular nickname for our friends over there. Molly Pearson. Hey, Owen, love your show and all the work you do. I need to call in and chat with you. You're easily the most authentic voice in the game right now. Thank you, Molly. I appreciate that. Thank you. Is that, looks like you've got, is that an Irish sheephound there in the picture? It's hard for me to see. That's a nice dog. Very nice. Nice dog, Molly. If we open the phones today, good luck. I know it's tough to get in here. Maybe you'll get in someday. Robert Bickerstaff, I'm old enough to remember when Martha's Vineyard lasted a whole 10 hours before the deportations began. The old Martha Vineyard liberal, yeah. Shelly Chavers sent a sticker. I don't know what it is. I can't see it, but there's the Super Chat. Thank you. Thank you, Shelly. Scotty Gesso, don't worry. Jesus is white. Am I missing something? What is that in reference to? I'm not sure, but thank you, Scotty. David Barncastle Jr. That's a name. I got 2 years in prison for selling a bag of weed in the 90s. Now they grow it beside the county jail in Brookville, Pennsylvania. That's a wild one. There's a lot of people that are rotting in jail. There's a lot of people that are rotting in jail for marijuana charges, even in states and federal prisons where it's legal. Honestly, you'd be stunned at what people get locked up into these federal prisons for. There was a guy, I actually just happened to be there for what was a pretty historic release, actually, for this individual. I forget his name, a very quiet guy. But he was basically one of the original, let's say, inventors or chemists, whatever, that came up with what do they call these alternative to weeds? These different weed alternatives like K2 or whatever. I forget the one that he came up with. He's a chemist. He was growing it. And he was the first to develop this synthetic weed. And he kind of went through the local courts and he was trying to be above board with everything. He was trying to make sure he wasn't doing anything illegal. And whatever it was, it cleared the local cleared the local jurisdictions, it cleared the state jurisdictions, and he was allowed to sell it. He was allowed to produce this fake weed. And it was all legal as far as he was concerned. And then the feds came in and raided him and shut him down, and he ended up getting years in prison. He's sitting in prison as the product that he formulated is now legal everywhere. Like, do you understand how insane that is? I just happened to be there when they released him, and it was a bit of a, people were happy for him. This guy wouldn't harm a fly. He's like a nerdy chemist. Like, he didn't even talk. And he's sitting in there. He's rotting in prison for years. For years. Rotting in prison for years because the feds raided him after the state said what he was doing was legal. And then the product that he created was now totally legal, and he was rotting in jail the entire time. It's crazy. The ghost drugs that they arrest people on now, they'll never even find you with drugs, and they'll arrest you for drugs, folks. It's insane. Tay from Florida, MLPS anti-ICE leftist, wear your mask crowd 2020. Well, don't even try that one. They hate the masks now. Yeah, to tell them they got COVID. Say, you're wearing a mask. Well, I got COVID. That'll be interesting. What do you think they'd say to that? They see an ICE agent with a mask on. They say, take your mask off. I can't. I've got COVID. Well, that mask doesn't stop COVID. Really? Really? Felchist. It's about the nationalization and the militarization of a surveillance state and the cultural conditioning to get to that point. They tried it under COVID. It didn't work. I agree. And that's exactly what I've been saying, is that the only difference is that the mistake that they made with COVID was that they tried to roll out the infrastructure after. So now they're building the infrastructure, and then whatever they're going to do to bring in the AI surveillance state total clampdown, they're building the infrastructure first. So with COVID, they rolled out the pandemic, they rolled out the exercise, then they tried to build the infrastructure. It didn't work. So now they're building the infrastructure, then they're going to roll out whatever it is next. So yeah, we're on the same page there. Tim Hamby. Thank you, Tim. Felchis is back. Now they are trying to do something under ICE and immigration, but it's the same agenda at play, and that should concern everyone who loves freedom. I see that. I don't know. I mean, they're definitely using the tech. They're definitely using the tech for the operations, but it's like you're not against deportation. So I don't know. It's tough. Tay from Florida, the world hates Illinois, not U.S. tariffs. Is that what you're saying? I can't see it. That's what it looks like you're saying there. One of the many motives involved in capturing Maduro was to secure the to preserve the petrodollar global valuation by controlling the largest market share of oil. That's definitely part of it. There's no doubt that's part of it. It's time to accept Trump works for Israel and oligarchs, not the people. He let us down. It was a good con job. He did dupe us. I mean, honestly, I just feel like it's one extreme or the other. Either it's the greatest con job of all time. It's the greatest political con job, bait and switch of all time. definitely in modern history. Or, get ready for QAnon to be real. It seems like those are our options at this point. Like, I'm not telling you QAnon's real. I'm just saying it seems like I don't know what else. I don't know what other conclusion you can reach at this point. The white whale. You often question what young people are into, mostly coffee shops, crafternoons, museums, fitness, nature bathing, and live music, from what I see. Crafternoons? Is that a Minecraft thing, or are they actually making stuff? Definitely, I see a lot of the fitness ones. I mean, those are the ones I see. Those ones I talk to. Stephen Hancock, 8132, thank you. Crowd Killer S9, SN95. I got text from an Israeli lobby company a few weeks ago about Israel-America relations, almost positive this is part of a tag, track, and ID program. That or somebody just sold them your phone number. Could be either one. Captain Hard, Zionists are literally traitors. They want Israel to be the leading country in every aspect. Why are they allowed to have loyalty to another country? Certainly one of the big exposés happening right now. There's no doubt. Tay-Tay, I'm 36 and still rock a Pikachu backpack. You don't have to say that out loud, brother. That's okay. Maybe that's one you keep to yourself. I am curious to see it, though. Somebody sent me a Geodude clothes hanger. You can imagine that. Jennifer, the X algorithm seems to currently be suppressing any account that is questioning the Fed slop Charlie Kirk narrative. I don't know. You could be right. I don't know if I'm seeing that. But again, I just feel like the algorithm gives me what I want. So it's like if I'm looking at Charlie Kirk stuff, or if I'm looking at, that content type stuff, it's popping up for me. So I don't know. I'm just not seeing that. I'm not denying it's happening. I know that there's still, suppression issues, shadow ban issues, whatever. I know that still goes on. But I think for just an individual consumption purpose, I think you can beat the algorithm by triggering the AI to show you what you want. So it's still like they're limiting reach and suppressing stuff, but you can at least still find a way to get it on your feed. TI 83 and 84 calculators equal graphing calculators. That's what it was. The TI 83s. Math was never my strong suit. It was never my favorite. Pam Bondi knows what is in the Epstein files pertaining to Trump and everyone else. She will never be fired. Well, that's a good point, but look at Bongino. Bongino probably does too. Look, guys, I'm telling you, Bondi is not very popular internally. Okay? I'm telling you this. Are you listening to what I'm saying? The internal frustration with Bondi is very real. It is being voiced internally. So again, I don't know if this is Trump keeping her around because she's an easy scapegoat. I don't know if for whatever reason Trump doesn't want to fire her. I don't know what's going on, but I'm telling you that there is internal complaints about Pam Bondi. And some people are sick and tired of not getting results, guys. Okay? It's not just us. It's not just us here on the outside. Believe me, internally, it is not quiet on the what the hell's going on with the Pam Bondi front. It is not quiet. It's not quiet in Congress, and it's not quiet within the administration. So I don't know. I don't know why Trump keeps her around. Ben Johnson, Bondi was given an impossible task. She's the one who has to connect Trump to judges, which he can't control. There's solutions to these problems, folks. There's solutions to these problems, but the reason why they're not being addressed is because we're prioritizing foreign and special interests. That's what it is. Okay? That's the problem. So there you go. All right. Couple minutes left in today's transmission. So we can open up some phone calls. How would you like that? You'd like that. You'd like that a lot. All right, phone line is open. 747 200 5560. 747 200 5560. And you got to race to those lines because we got people there. They got it on speed dial. They dial that thing up so fast you can't even get in. They got that number on speed dial. You're lucky if you can even get in on the air. So you got to be fast. You got to move fast. Got to have fast fingers, efficient fingers. Here we go. First caller of the show. What's your name? Where you're from?
Owen, Patriot. This is Kevin from Chicago.
Oh, what's up, Kevin? You got a big game this weekend. That's going to be fun.
I don't follow sports ball.
Well, you know what?
But I will tell you what.
It's going to be fun no matter what.
Hey, respect. Let me tell you something. This whole ICE thing and the comments following, people like Joe Rogan and all these other people, Shane Gillis, they're walking back their comments. You're saying it's too much. It's what about the rights? Dan Bilzerian, I don't trust the government. We can't be that way. We got to put our foot down. We got to put our foot on their neck when we can. Because this is it. This is our last chance before it's
well,
the
here's
end
the
of the
problem.
country.
Here's the problem. The street vermin are nothing. They're nothing. They're useless they're useful idiots rather. They're just pawns. They're just pawns of the leftist agenda. They're just pawns of the divide and conquer. So I mean, you know, arresting all of these protesters really isn't going to change anything. It's just going to get the slop out of the streets, which is fine. Okay, we need ICE to do its job. Now, I don't know if you saw this. I was getting some trouble in the chat earlier today, but it's true. You know, when it first happened, I kind of had the same response, which was like, hey, you know, this isn't good. We don't want ICE agents killing Americans. And, you know, maybe the first shot was justified and the next two weren't. And it's like, okay, my initial response was like, let's be careful with this. But then you learn more. You learn more about the individual in question. You become less inclined to defend her. You see the protests are now getting worse and worse and worse. And so that's why, you know, the next day or 2 days later, I was like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not with them. I'm out. They're just lost. So screw them. So yeah, that's why the conclusion I reached, as I said earlier, it's like, hey, we can be against militarization of police. We can be against watching, you know, we don't like what we're seeing. We don't like what we're seeing in the streets, but at the same time, we have to be realistic. What else is ICE supposed to do? I don't know. There is nothing else. These people, if they're going to disrupt law enforcement, they're going to jail. That's it. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So I don't think it's a double standard. I think it's normal to say, hey, I don't want to see this, but there's no other way to do it. So have at it, boys.
I mean, my first reaction was the same as you. I was like, the first thing that comes to mind is, man, that's brutal. I hate to see that, but you got to put that aside, man, because we got to be brutal now because that's what time's come for.
But this is why we have to
be ruthless.
But this is why we have to go after the organizers and the funders. That's my frustration. Taking the street vermin off the street, it really doesn't do anything. Bondi has to go after the organizers and the funders. That's what she said she was going to do, and she hasn't done it.
No, we have to deport as many as we possibly can. And during that time, there's going to be violence. It's going to be ugly. There's going to be situations that rise. So that's my point. I'm
with you on that. The deportations have to happen.
Yeah, that's my point. You can't be soft anymore, man. It's going to get ugly. You got to brace for that.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about that. The deportations have to happen, and I don't know what else you're supposed to do if you're ICE and you're getting literally ambushed. So it's just like, I don't know what they have to do it, guys. So yeah, I don't like seeing it. Nobody likes seeing it. It's okay. It's okay. We don't like seeing it. Has to be done. Has to be done. Next caller, what's your name? Where you're from?
Hey, Owen. It's Tay from Florida, currently in Austin, Texas.
Oh, okay. What's up?
Yeah, I'm actually at the Bergstrom right now, so waiting on my flight. So I'm still rocking the Pikachu backpack.
At the airport?
Yes.
Did you go see now they have these card dispensers in the airport? Have you seen this?
Oh, yes.
They got to be upcharging you on that deal. They got to be charging you out the wazoo on that deal.
Yeah. Yeah, just calling to say hi, and yeah, I'm actually boarding my my flight right now. So have a good one.
All right, have a safe flight. Okay. Next caller, what's your name? Where you from?
Hey, this is Chris. I'm from Arizona.
All right, Chris. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Owen? This is Chris out of Tucson, Arizona. I guess, man, what is your take on this whole, Candace Owens really, I don't know, she, the Egyptian planes, not really knowing any direction on she's going, and then you have Nick Fuentes, everyone ganging up on this guy too. You got the Somali guy reporting this, the cover up in Minnesota. Got all these like influencers doing the news now. What is going on? Just trying to. I almost see it as like the new CNN. They're now trying to get everyone on. Hey, let's go with this side of the story, right? You got a good take on everything, man. I'm just curious.
Yeah, so I mean, I monitor it all. As far as what do I think about it? I mean, I just don't think too much about it. Is what it is. I just don't think too much about it. I mean, because my mindset still remains the same. It's like I don't need, whatever Candace is looking for, I say go. Go ahead. Whatever Candace is looking for, full steam ahead. But to me, it's like I don't need to be convinced that I've been lied to, right? I mean, to me, it's like I know the official narrative of Charlie Kirk to me is bullcrap. So it's like I feel like whatever Candace is chasing or whatever she's looking for, I say full steam ahead. But I don't, it's like I don't need convincing, and I would say that in my mindset, a professional hit like this, I don't think you're going to get answers. Now, you might be able to find stuff that's curious or might be a clue or a context type of thing, and I think that's kind of what Candace is doing, and I see the attacks against her, which, again, I don't understand. It's like, why are we so bothered? Let Candace do her research thing. Why does this anger people so much? Whatever, people take it personally. But no, it's like I don't need convincing. Obviously, to me, the story is fake. Obviously, the government is lying. And if it's a professional hit, then, are we really ever going to find out who it is? So, as far as influencers doing the news, this is part of the reason why I do this show. This is part of the reason why I do the Owen Report, and I try to do a more traditional news broadcast. And it's also part of the reason why I don't get into the personality drama. I just don't do it. I'm not interested in it. I try to get along with everybody. I like everybody. I appreciate everybody's effort to try to replace, the fake news, the legacy news, however they want to do it. But as far as the personality conflicts, I've always stayed out of it. And so that's just how it's going to be. So I try to just do news as best I can here. I try to do more of a traditional news broadcast and just stay out of the personal drama.
Good stuff, man. Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, second follow-up to this too. With the two economies, what's your prediction for 26? Do we get another big event? We had Trump get on the ear. We had these big things. I don't know if Iran or Venezuela is really shaping up to be a big thing, but your prediction for 26, do we get something on those levels?
I would say the big thing is going to come in 2028. I would say 2028, but if the powers that be are concerned, if they lose the House or even the Senate, if they're concerned that could reshape the effectiveness of the administration or policy, then they might have to move the plans forward. But my guess is the next big event will probably be in 2028. That's my guess. I think they'll be able to kind of keep everything relatively bottled up until then. But they might figure we got to go all the way now because our window of time, our window of opportunity is closing.
Yep. Good stuff, man.
That's how I see it. Thank you for the call. We'll take a couple more calls here. Got another super chat. I think we got a couple actually. But here's a couple fresh super chats here. Marina Gavrich is back. Hope everyone is getting their lifts while listening to the show. If you have trouble sleeping, When your thoughts go into overdrive, remember God always wins. Hope that brings us all inner peace. Thank you. Thank you. God does always win. It's not like a stress. It's not a stress thing. Like I said, maybe last night just because I knew I had legal stuff today and I haven't had legal stuff in a while. So you kind of get that, that thought. So that was definitely on my mind. It's not like but no, it's not like a worry or a stress thing. I just can't turn off my mind. And this is normally while I'll sit in bed with the TV on or like listening to music or scrolling through X because it's just like I'm trying to just wear my mind out. But it just doesn't happen. So, you take a bunch of melatonin or whatever, try to sleep it off. Hope you're getting a good workout in, though. That's the most important thing. Patrick Nahara. Owen, you're the best. It's so easy to get bogged down in the nonsense, so I'll keep it light. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? You're going to keep it light. Whoever the NFL wants. How about that? No, I don't know. I don't have any action right now. Well, that's not true, actually. I got IU. I know that's not the Super Bowl. I got IU to win the Natty. And then I don't have any NFL action yet, but I'm probably going to be looking at the New England Patriots, I think, pretty closely. I think I'll be eyeing a New England Patriots play. I don't know, man. It's anybody's year, I think. Here's a wild one for you, though. There have been 4 NFL teams that have won a playoff game in 6 straight years. There have been 4 NFL teams that have won a playoff game in 6 straight years. You had Tom Brady's New England Patriots, who won 3 Super Bowls in that span. You had Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs, who won 3 Super Bowls in that span. And you had the Dallas Cowboys with Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and the rest of them that won 2 Super Bowls during that span. The 4th team that has won a playoff game in 6 straight years is the Buffalo Bills with 0 Super Bowls in that time span. Is there a more painful fan base than the Buffalo Bills? These people literally throw themselves through tables in freezing cold. They go out and dig the stadium out of the snow voluntarily. They then have to watch the game on ice cold bleachers in a freezing environment. And then they have to watch their team blow playoffs after playoffs after playoffs after playoffs after playoffs. And now they're looking at this and they're saying Josh Allen has no excuses. There's no Joe Burrow. There's no Patrick Mahomes. There's no Tom Brady. You name it. None. They're all gone. No Lamar Jackson. This is supposed to be the Josh Allen year. Watch out for Drake May. Watch out for Drake May. What are those matchups? You got the who's even going? You got the Bills. You got the Patriots. Who had the bye in the AFC? I forgot. I don't have it in front of me. If the Bills don't win this year, I don't know. Maybe they wait and then they give the Bills the Super Bowl when they're in their new stadium. By the way, the Washington Redskins, the Commanders just announced their new stadium. The build, they say it's going to be $4 billion, and I do believe that will be the most expensive sports venue in the world at $4 billion. So that'll be interesting. All right, let's final caller of the show. What's your name? Where you from?
Peter, and I'm from Connecticut.
All right, Peter, go ahead.
You know, it's funny you talk about, having trouble sleeping. I'm having terrible trouble sleeping. Like, if I have to work at 8 in the morning, oh, man, I'm up all night. And, but here's the thing. Everything else is irrelevant. Trump and Netanyahu are about to go fucking scorched earth in Iran. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man. I'm like, I don't know what else to say or do. I'm like, this is, and I tell everybody about it. I'm like,
I don't think Trump wants to. I don't think Trump wants to. Now, he may not end up having a choice.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't think he wants to. I think he knows how unpopular it is. I think he does. And I think he has enough of a sense of awareness that he's losing a lot of his support. And, he just flicked off somebody for it. So I think he knows. I think he knows what will happen if he goes forward with another Iran strike. But he may not have a choice.
That's all. I mean, to hear that makes me feel better. But like, you never know with these people, man. It's like they say one thing and then boom, the next thing it's just like, who knows,
Well, yeah, those are politicians for you.
Yeah.
Politicians.
But
What do you know?
I love the music, by the way, and everything.
Oh, there we go.
I appreciate it.
There we go.
I like the strings and shit. Like, it's awesome, man.
We still haven't gotten anybody. I don't think anybody's gotten that one yet. The Zelda one today was easy. Hey, thanks for the call, man. That's going to be the final caller for the show, guys. The Zelda one today, everybody recognizes the Zelda, but some people have figured out the intro that we play. You've figured it out by now if you're a regular listener. We do the 5-minute kind of news intro of what's coming up on the show. We have the first ad break, and then we play the first theme song. So some people have figured out where that music is from. So if you played that game growing up, we won't say it out loud yet. Maybe we'll let somebody say it in the super chat and give you guys the credit. But the one that we play in the first break every day, that is a deep cut. That is a deep cut, and nobody's said that one yet. So maybe that's what we'll do. As soon as you guys have identified all the different video game music, then we'll start adding the new ones. But until then, we're gonna stick with the plan as is. All right, guys, 21-hour break. We'll do it. Here's got some guys calling in and talking football. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. Maybe we'll make our plays for tomorrow. I was curious. I looked it up when he was talking to see who was playing this weekend because I did genuinely forget. But I see it now. Maybe we'll have some fun with that tomorrow. That's okay. That's okay. Hey, big shout out. Big shout out to our friends at the 1776 Law Center. Appreciate you guys over there. Always helping us out. Don't forget, folks, all of the official Owen Report merchandise can be found at owenschroyer.store. The new USA Elite, logo and attire is available right now, owenschroyer.store. We'll take a 21-hour break. We'll do it all again tomorrow, guys. God bless and Godspeed.